We are live.
We are live. I don't see
We
anything yet, but okay.
It comes up.
Car
I need
show.
popcorn. Yes. Make sure your popcorn and snacks are ready. Have your drinks available at your side, your beverage of choice. And tonight we are going to start off, I think, while people roll in, because some people rewatch later. So we're going to start with some kind of canned content, and then we will get into greetings and comments. But tonight I did a little something where I set us up with a player where we can watch the contents of our local car show this weekend in Clarksville, and I don't recall the name of the group that organized it, so they are going to have to, we apologize for that. And in the future, we're going to do better. We learned an awful lot from recording this event. We did make some updates to sound, so if anyone has comments, positive or negative, about the sound tonight.
Yeah, can everybody hear us? The unibody truck, that's what the man's sitting there, he goes, I said, what can you tell us about it? He goes, first, it's a unibody. We definitely had sound problems at this car show. So,
yeah, so we're not going to play the sound from the event. We're just going to talk you through it.
Here's what happened, is the microphones that Kim got.
We're going to pause this.
We're going to pause it. Okay.
Go ahead.
We clipped them to my collar, and I walked around. It was great. It picked me up. I had another one that I could, if I was talking to an owner of a car, but they were playing music way in the back of the car show, and it just sounded like squealing till we got close, and then you could hear the music, so we can't have that because it's you get a copyright violation. But it picked up that it didn't matter where we were, it was all through it. So we're gonna have to work on the microphones a little bit for live stuff. But so what we decided to do, I was going to do a video yesterday of the car show, but the audio is so bad, we decided just to play car show videos while we're doing this without any sound, and then you got us to talk to. So
I mean, I'm not against them playing music for, atmosphere. It's their event and they can enjoy it, but it does make our job as content creators a little more challenging to find the best way. Now, another thing that I noticed is
yeah,
everything has
a soundtrack.
I think that's why it has a soundtrack, is because you can't really play it. So we're going to talk about the vehicles as we saw them. This was a beautifully presented engine,
this whole truck was nice. It was, it's a '62, and it's called a unibody, although it's on a frame. They call it a unibody because the bed is integral with the cab. But I didn't hear much music at that show. Yeah, we shut it off. I don't know if we would. Yeah, it's a 460. It sure is. And I'm not even.
The badges, the mirrors, all the chrome on this truck was just a sight to behold. It was really pretty, and it's the man was there to talk to us about the truck, and we tried to ask people before we walked around their vehicles to make sure they were comfortable with us doing that. So he was one of the first people to greet us and tell us about his truck.
Mexican sex at Mexican car show. The music is so loud you can't hear the person next. It's like that here with some of them. This one wasn't that bad. They had music going in the big speaker toward the back of the show. So as you walk back into the show toward the back of the parking lot, it got louder, but it wasn't overwhelming like some shows I'm at. I used to go to one in Arizona that I really liked, except for the music, and it was so loud. If you're standing next to somebody, you had to yell at each other. That just sucks.
Just a Ford stereo.
1990s Lincoln speakers in the doors. Yeah. So, this is the owner of that truck, and I can't remember his name. Of course, he told us his name. There I am, standing there holding that microphone that picks up everything. But I could hear him real well, but I could also hear the racket, the retwins.
Yes, that's brother.
You know what? When I grew this mustache, I said, okay, now I'm a Tennessee hillbilly, because I had a big gray beard and it was ugly as hell. So I cut it off and made this. so I feel like I'm part of Tennessee. Uh, so anyway,
So I think it's the really great thing about a car show is you get to be up close and personal with vehicles that you'll never own, and you get to kind of see someone else's interpretation because a vehicle this old is rarely going to be factory original. Most of these people have made modifications, have, spent time and money on the things that they thought were most important. And something like this is a real gem. Like someone's gone over
well, this was a
end-to-end
this is a
restoration.
frame off restoration. The guy did a heck of a job, and this is what I like about the local car shows. These are people that don't go off to like a big city car show that has a couple of thousand cars. They had, I don't know what they had here, 30 cars, something like that.
And we didn't
But
even get to see all 30.
but it's some nice stuff.
And it's very close to home, and the people are local. So we're kind of hoping to, make friends with people who will tell us where to. We're learning a lot. The other thing we're learning about is our sound and video equipment, how to use it differently, and maybe where we're lacking. So hopefully, this was tough. We're practicing new skills here. Like I caught him with the microphone rubbing it, and it's making thunder. It's like you can't rub the microphone.
I had this little microphone in my hand that I hold over near somebody that we were talking to, but I'm doing this nervous thing with my fingers. Don't even know I'm doing it, and she's like, "What is that noise?" On the microphone. You can't do that. So okay, I'm not going to do that. And a couple minutes later, I catch myself doing this again.
You have to forgive us that we're cutting out a lot of content that we captured, and we just want to present it to you in a way that you'll find enjoyable. This is such a beautiful truck that we would not have seen anywhere else. This guy put all this time and effort into it. It's just in the back of O'Charlie's on Riverside Drive in Clarksville some weekends.
Maxim 6 says from the front door forward, it's nice. He didn't like the tubbed fender wells, but on a truck, you really didn't notice it. It's not like, I don't like them like on a coupe or something where the wheels are way inboard and there's giant tubs inside the trunk. But this, I tell you, when I was walking around it, I really didn't even notice it. Pro Street would not be my first impulse there. Yeah, me neither, but
that was what he wanted.
But that's a nice truck, and the guy did a nice job on it,
I think it's neat to go out and see what other people's what they like and how it turns out. And do I like it? Is that what I would want for my truck or no? And I don't have to be critical of him, but I can be critical of me. What would my choices be?
Well, it is noticeable from inside the bed, but when Kim walked around it, there's a Mercury that came in at the same time.
We get to look at that a little later.
The other thing, Ford had a white called Wimbledon white, which is what that Mercury is, but this guy used a much whiter, crisp white, which he liked better, and it looked good on that truck. But anyway,
welcome people as you're coming in. Right now we're going to go over this car show a little bit, and then we'll do greetings later than in the stream than normal.
I'm not even sure I walked around the back of that truck. Kim did and got video of it. So I really didn't notice that the tubs were that big because, I didn't walk around the back of the bed.
Okay, on to the next comment.
On to the next one. Oh, is that showing up there?
No, they can't see
that. They can't see that? Okay.
No,
she's putting stuff up there.
They can see us, though. They can see us.
Okay. More practical truck on slots. Yeah. That truck next to it has the wrong bed on it. Oh, that's possible. A lot of people do stuff that's not exactly stock. You're talking about the red Chevy truck?
Okay, here's the red Chevy truck.
And this is this is nice detailed work,
I liked the red MSD box with the red of the truck. I think they color coordinated really cute.
And the new air conditioning, a lot of these cars had air conditioning put on them. And the new air conditioners, they got this small, very small compressor, and it really fits nicely in the engine compartment. Not a lot of stuff,
Don't worry, Danny Boyd. We'll get to the checkers later.
Is this the one that says it has the wrong bed on it? I don't know. It's a step side.
No, he said it was a green one. I think the ratty one beside it.
Oh, I don't know.
And okay. I noticed that they have the family Gradunza in the bed of the truck.
See, see these little latches. I thought that was pretty slick.
I've never seen those.
Somebody did that. I saw one time where somebody did something similar with seatbelts, and what I did was I looked to see if the guy done the seatbelt trick, little seatbelt latches, but it wasn't. He made these things, which is pretty nice.
I mean, I've seen a lot of vehicles, but I gotta say, like, the more I realize, like, the more I see, I realize the less I know. I've never seen this particular kind of truck up close like that. Okay, that one's done. I'm gonna grab another one.
Oh, the truck next to the red one has a bed from a 68 through 72. Oh, okay. You know, a lot of this, I don't really like critical of these people because they spent, they probably spent years making a nice vehicle.
And then this guy had a custom dash. And I didn't know that people were doing this, but that is an aftermarket dash that's custom fit to go into that truck.
And it looks kind of stock, but obviously it isn't. It looks kind of good.
And he had throttle body fuel injection aftermarket kind of thing sitting on that motor, and it started right up, sounded good. He was really proud of it, really proud of it. Couldn't wait for me to start it and show it to
you. Yeah, you want to hear it, and we got it, but we couldn't because of all the music. In the background.
We could play it, but we have a lot to get through, and okay, I think the next in line is 4. I apologize. Sometimes they forget to turn signals. I was not aware.
I don't know that. Yeah. That's me walking.
This fella
around.
here is sorry. So not everybody has old cars.
This guy has a 2014 Mustang. I don't know what model.
Was it that old? 2014?
No, wrong. 2024. I'm only off by 10 years.
Only 10 years.
I think I'm 60 instead of 70. So, and his wife has one. He says the payments are killing him. And then he tells me that his wife has one too. Well, that's why the payments are killing him. They bought 2 of them. So he says sometimes he kind of thinks he should have built the car because he'd have time in building it and enjoy it. But instead he wanted to drive it. So they bought a couple of Mustangs with 500 horsepower, 5 liters.
And about this part of the show, I started to realize that I had no idea how to film these vehicles very good. So I apologize. Looking over some of these videos, it's terrible, and I did not know. They are Mustang wheels, so they are not a copy.
Yeah, this is just this is the way it came. It's a new car. Doesn't have many miles on it.
I don't really understand buying a new car and taking it to a car show and sitting in front of it.
I used to go to a big car show. It was in Phoenix, so that's why it was big. But it was a parking lot car show every Friday night or Saturday night. I think it's every Saturday night, and there'd be a whole line of brand new Mustangs. And I looked at that and I was like, these guys are all got the hoods open on their brand spanking new Mustangs. I always thought that was kind of crazy because most of the cars at the car show were like this, where somebody had built them. But they, if you want to see new cars, you go to the dealer.
Yeah, do you work for a dealer? I don't understand.
And this was, I don't know my years of the Chevys earlier than about 1949. So this is like a late 40 Chevy. I don't know what year it is. Maybe somebody does. Has a small block in it.
And it was a blackish gray metallic. The chrome was amazing. I can't believe a car of this, just how beautiful this car was. The detail of it, in the back of O'Charlie's, just hanging out on a Saturday. Real pretty car. And we didn't get to talk to all the owners of all the cars.
I don't even know who owned this. He just parked it there, left the hood open, walked away.
I like the wheel and tire choice on this car. I think it looks really good.
It was tinted so dark, it was hard to see the inside of it. But you can see the paint on it. Paint's beautiful. Did a nice job on it. But not sure if it's 46, 7, 8, something like that. Turbo Tom. I have new Mopars on my channel. Yeah, you have those Turbo Tom. Do you have any of those new Chargers yet? The 2 doors, electric ones. I see power brakes, power steering in there. Nice upgrades. That is a weak owner.
Did he have skinny arms? I did. We never ran into the owner
This
of
guy,
this particular car.
this guy, guy, woman, I don't know. It was just there, and nobody
Well,
around.
people were like hanging
Of
out
course
over under in the shade
Yep.
on some lawn chairs, chit chatting. They were car club and they all know each other, so that was fun for them, and they were more than happy to show us their cars when they were not occupied with other things. So
There was a car here that she may have. It's a what was it? It was a 63 Ford. Oh, there's old Rambler. Somebody did a nice job on that. I remember those things when I was a kid. I think they were all pink. I don't remember seeing a red one. I know the back wheels look like they're too far forward. They're all like that. I had a friend that built one of these, and he redid the suspension so the wheels would be centered on the wheel well.
I found this car to be really squat, like shorter.
It looks
with
like it's
a narrower wheelbase, like the wheels are really narrow
but
under
they're
the
like
car.
that's how they were.
I mean, it was just very unusual compared to the other cars that were at the show. That's the things that stood out to me is that it was like
This is a restoration more than a resto mod or something.
it was
But
really pretty.
I remember the shifter being on like a ball joint there. I rode in these things when I was a kid. They all smelled funny inside, and I think they were all pink.
It's really crazy how many of these old cars I've never seen one, especially not one in such
Oh,
beautiful condition.
This is the Metropolitan. This is a Rambler American. It's a 58, 59, or 60, and I think this is a 58 because it had the
It
New
said
York.
so on the
It had a
license.
New York license plate on the front. Had Tennessee, new license plate on the back. Yeah, it's 58. So I'm sure it's 58. Like, I do have the 3.0 twin turbo inline 6-cylinder. Huh. Man, I don't know about these new cars.
Mexican spec, I didn't even have a problem with it. It's just like it stood out that those were characteristics that I really found that I noticed about that car. Okay,
Yeah,
here's-
when I was a kid, I hated those Rambler Americans, but now I look at them and I go, somebody did a really nice job on this,
okay.
What's this?
Everyone, if you're just getting here, I apologize that we're going through this car show because it's the lead in to our live tonight, and then we'll do greetings and we'll discuss things. We're a little bit along the way, but if we miss your comment, please bear with us, or we apologize because that's just we're trying a slightly different format. We're trying to enjoy these car shows and see how we might incorporate this.
And for those of you that just came in, what happened was we went and did this, and I was going to do a video yesterday, but the music in the background was loud enough that we knew we were going to get busted by YouTube. And then when we were toward the other end of the show, where the music wasn't as loud, it just made squealing sounds on the audio. So we just decided to do it. Excuse me. We just decided to do it during the live tonight.
So this guy was super cool. He told us about how he knew nothing about cars, and he had somebody build this car. It was his dream car, and they built it up to have a nice rumbly cam
Well,
and be fun for him.
it's not just the monetization. It sounded terrible because it was kind of squealing sounding music
But we learned a lot about how we were wanted to do the sound better in the future.
And someday I hope to be monetized. And then when people go back and watch it, I could probably get busted. I don't know. We shouldn't do it. This car, the guy had somebody build the engine, and he said his goal was, when he was an older guy, like my age, his goal was when he was a kid, he rode in a car that had a rumpity-rump camshaft in it, and he wanted it to sound like that. And he told the guy that's what the goal was for that engine. And he started up, and it sounded like a 70s rumbly cam.
What year did he say this Corvette is?
This is a 79, I think. Let me see the back end. I think it's a 79.
I like a lot of stuff about this Corvette. I'm not like a big Corvette, but like if I wanted a Corvette, I think it would be something like this. Like the tires are like sticking out, and big bulby tires. I like the wheels. That's not my favorite color paint, but the way that the paint has like depth and sort of a little bit of metallic in it.
And this guy
T
really,
tops,
he really
glass.
wanted to start it up so we'd hear it. So we did.
There's a lot of really good
It
stuff.
sounded like a '70s
Oh,
hot
man.
rod. Rub it, rub, 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 rub.
I don't know if they could hear it.
Oh, probably not. I don't really know.
Can't hear it.
Okay, so.
Nice guy.
Oh yeah, everybody here is super.
No
nice
reason to
people.
be intimidated about something like this. People were there to show off their trophies, the things that they've worked so hard for, and invested so much time. And you know, it's tough to hold on to things like this, you know. And it's a busy world, and we all have responsibilities. And
Here's a. Yeah, if you could stop it there. Old Ugly's Custom and Cycles. This is where I got that card that's on my desk. Old Ugly's Custom and Cycles. He's the guy that built the car for him. And yeah, that's what he wanted, you know. And I'm trying to remember what he did. Oh, he was in the Army. He a career Army guy that was infantry or something. He goes, man, I didn't learn how to do any of this in the Army. I wasn't a mechanic, so he goes, I really needed help with it. And got somebody to build it for him. I like side pipes. But I like them. I like them when they're black.
Really good.
I like when they're black.
It was a really fun car. Like, it's the kind of thing you look at and you feel like you smile. You like, your leg on the pipe. Yeah, that wouldn't do it for me.
I've done that.
You better be aware.
Motorcycles. I've done
aware.
that. I've never done it on a car, but I've done it on motorcycles.
But to watch it just like cruise on by, hear them start it up. I mean, it's a jewel to really see. So. Anyways, we enjoyed that car quite a bit. I would not want to have to own one.
Leg
Care and
burners.
feeding is expensive, but
What else do we have from the show? I don't know.
I think 888 is next. Here, let's
I don't know where you're at. So.
leg burners.
Yeah. Have you ever burned yourself on a side pipe?
This gentleman here, did he put LS in his car? He was talking about. Okay, let's go.
No. I don't know. Maybe it is. This is a 54 Chevy. He bought it. It had that grill in it.
53.
53, I'm sorry. It's a 53 Chevy, and he liked that grill, so he left it in there. No, it's a, what do you call that? It's like my Corvette had in it. Can't think of what that.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's a small block, but it's the later model.
I couldn't believe how low it was.
He lowered it, but it wasn't the point where it was...
No, I mean the engine.
Oh, the engine was down in there.
Like, you could drop the hood 2 inches and it would still have plenty of room.
I asked him about, because I had friends back in the 70s that had these cars, and you put a V8 in them, and they never had V8s in them. So the steering box, there was always problems trying to get clearance and everything. And this one, he put a Mustang 2 front end under it, suspension and everything. So he had a couple of U-joints on the steering, and there was enough room. He goes, it's a little tight, but it isn't bad. But with the Mustang 2 front end, it handles good and everything, and the whole car sits lower than stock, but it's not slammed to the ground. It actually looked pretty good the way it was.
The interior, beautiful. I believe he said he bought it from the family that owned it from new, and it had always been a Tennessee car.
Vortec? Is that what it is?
Vortec or LS? I think a Vortec.
It's not an LS.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many of those there in Mexico. Yeah, and definitely from the back end it looks like a 53, but the front end, that grill is definitely something somebody made.
A lot of chrome. The attention to detail, so nice on the emblems and such. I was just blown away. Everything that I've ever seen, like when I was younger and I saw a car like this, everything was just all
LT1, that's exactly what it is.
pitted.
Glad somebody could remember.
Destroyed. All.
See, my brain, it's fried. But it's from age, not from drugs.
Wing windows.
I'm not a drugs guy.
Another custom.
Not an alcohol guy. I just am an age guy. Oh, look at that!
Custom
Look
dash.
at that dash!
You want me to go back?
I never even saw that. I didn't look in there. I was talking to the guy. Wow. Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. It fits in the hole and it looks good, and it's not original, but it looks good.
I didn't realize that so many restorers were using these custom dashes, but I think when they put the newer motors in, they find that they lose all the blah, blah, blah.
It kind of has an older look, but it's obviously newer. Looks kind of good. I've done cut off bottom exit exhaust often, but open pipes that you're yeah.
Thanks everyone for being here. I hope you're enjoying our little car show walk around thing, and we're not gonna. We've
There's the owner.
we're more than halfway through with this, and yeah, we don't want to belabor it, but we think it was pretty enjoyable, and we'd like to hear your comments on it. And okay, some people,
Okay,
at
you say
least
it's
somebody's
fun.
enjoying it. Okay.
Where's the doggy bubble head in the back window of that Kibby? Man, I remember seeing those, but it was, you know who had those when I was a
What was he
kid.
telling us? Oh, he was showing us the notch in the
Yeah,
frame.
yeah. Well, and that's how he got the steering to fit with the Mustang 2 front end, because the guys that used to do this with the small blocks always had interference with the steering gear, because these Chevys all had inline sixes, so you put a V8 in it, there were just collision with the steering gear. But this worked out real well. I mean, you had to notch the frame a little bit there, but uh, this guy did a good job.
Another friendly guy. I think if we would have not stopped him after I had finished walking around the car, that he would have sat and talked with us all day.
I
You
bet
know?
this would make a fine regular format even. You know what? We are going to go to another car show, and it's probably going to be a real small car show up in Kentucky on Thursday, and we just may save that video to do this again, because this was just a complete accident. I meant to make a video out of this, but the audio was so bad I couldn't use it. And kind of at the last minute, we decided to show the video
Trying
part
to
of
take
it.
advantage of our studio and the green screen, because the sound in the studio is just so much better.
We just decided to show the video at the during our live.
Let's
So
see if we get any other
kind of
comments.
accidentally worked out well, I guess. Let's see, what else do you have here? Yeah, like when we're talking to a guy, all you see is some couple people talking. That's not fun.
Yeah, but I mean, I tried to record the conversation, and it was interesting, and
Okay, somebody that's watching this that knows the LT1. When was the LT1 available? It was in Corvettes, I guess, and C4 Corvettes. I don't know. Somebody will know. It's also really hard to avoid copyright music at car shows. Yeah, and like Mexican Spec said, we're not monetized, but I hope to be monetized someday. And then when people go back and watch this, there could be a problem. So I'd just rather not have it. 94 through 97. Okay.
okay, so
So it's in the C5 Corvettes.
in regard
wait
to
a minute.
this
C4s and C. Wait a minute.
this choice of an engine swap, I will bet that it runs fantastic. It's super easy, turnkey, reliable, because this guy said that that's what they do, right? But aesthetically, the appearance, open the hood and see this, to me, incredibly anticlimactic. Even though it's obvious that this guy put in a ton of work and specialty fabrication to make everything go together really well. And super clean. There's not a lot of wires and stuff like that. He hid the fuel injection. It was all very well loomed, out of sight and out of mind and stuff like that. But you expect like a big old carburetor, or like DD Speed Shop with his tunnel rams and stuff like that. This is just like oh yeah, there's a motor under there. So
Don't talk to me about steering gear clearance issues. Why did Mopar put the starter on the left side? Maybe the people that designed that were in Australia. I really want to flip my bell housing upside down, man. Because in Australia, they got the engine offset to the right side of the car, and then the steering gear's over there, so they always have that problem.
And he did say this was not born as a V8 car. It was a
Yeah.
6-cylinder car. So that's what it was.
Then Mexican Spec said something here about a short run for a good engine. Well, that LT1 was kind of the end run of the small block Chevy, the way I look at it. And then they came out with the LS, so it was like it was still small block architecture, I think, but it was the best of it. The LS came out in '98 Corvette, so I'm sure that.
Oh, this
Yeah,
is the
that's
one we
why.
just
That's
did.
why. It's
Okay.
because the LS came around. That's what I thought. And the LS, of course, kind of really, really took over. And I've never had any. Wait a minute. I had one car with an LS. I had a car on a mini lease with an LS. Okay, that was there, nobody around. That was there, nobody around. 56 Chevy.
I think I walk around the 56 pretty well here.
So
We kind of skipped the Corvette because
it was a C4 Corvette sitting there with the hood shut, nobody around, and looked nice, but I don't know.
he didn't seem interested. So
Well,
we
because
moved on.
I had one for so long, I don't know why. Yeah, see that had custom dash in it too, which is okay, and a console they built.
It was really pretty, very clean.
Of course, and Kragers. I like Kragers. Some people like them, some people don't. And they upholstered the trunk, but that took up most of the trunk space.
So
I mean,
this
there's
is a
not much trunk left after that.
this is a 56, and I really had no real clarity of distinction between a 56 and a 57.
Oh,
They they're it's a tri-5, right? But like I this really may help me understand and see like they're different cars and different trim levels and whatnot because there's a 57 sitting right next to it that we look over next.
yeah, that was a C4 Corvette. That was one of the last C4 Corvettes. It's the 90 or 91 and later, the one that has a wraparound. What do you call it? Parking lights, you know. Dougster, how you doing? On a big block 4-speed Corvette, and I when I was like 16, yeah, that's what I wanted, 427 Corvette. 'Cause it was like a 69 Corvette with 427, what every kid wants. That I would have killed myself in that thing. Let's see, this was a 57, I think. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, it's no, it's 56.
250. This one's a convertible, and there was some different styling choices with the wheels and the motor that I really enjoyed. I think it played out well for a convertible with the two-tone paint. Ooh, breakfast for dinner.
Breakfast or dinner. Let's see. Pretty sure I don't need a big chrome airplane. Yeah, my 56 Ford had a big chrome thing in the center of the hood that was supposed to look like a jet or something. Yeah, my 56. One of my many 56s. And I took that out, welded that all in, and finished
One
it.
of your many.
And afterwards, it looked kind of naked without that thing in there. Colleen's leaving already? All right, Colleen, good to see you. See, now that's the stock instrument cluster, which looks good too.
I do.
And the
like
stock wheel, I kind of like. I don't know. I don't like little tiny steering wheels. I don't mind some custom steering wheels, but I don't know.
I like the big sweep of the gauge, but the aftermarket ones have more different little indicators instead of idiot lights, temperatures, gauges, tachometers, stuff like that.
Yeah, see, when I was in high school, these weren't so expensive, and so a lot of kids had 55, 56, 57 Chevys. They did cost more. They were worth more than a lot of other cars. They were the same age, but they weren't crazy expensive. They were reasonable. Yeah, it was a $600 car.
This
$500 or
guy
$600 car.
had most of it original. I noticed that it was the single pot master cylinder, with no booster, which is
That's
actually
normal. That's normal.
but the norm here is that people upgrade the brakes, and this person had not done that, but they did have air conditioning in a convertible.
Oh, Drab, you said it fits you. Have you ever driven a 56 Ford? Man, I just get in a 56 Ford and I feel right at home. In a 56 Chevy, it's like not quite right.
I wanted to mention too that in the background, the river is very high. It just had receded down from the sidewalk along the boardwalk because we had a lot of rainstorms and even tornadoes here the week before. So the river's very high and moving very fast with lots of trash in it.
Cumberland River.
kind of stunk. But that's okay. You don't have to do that.
The other one I want to drive that I've never driven is a 55 or 56 Plymouth. I really like those cars, and I especially like the 55. And I just never driven one. But
Rick, that's a crying shame.
what's this? What's it? Where?
At very last
71.
comment
I
there.
could have bought a 57 too different. Yeah, that's how it was. See, I was in high school, 70, 71, 72. Our high school was 3 years. We were sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And man, that was $350. Yep. That's what I mean. And my 56 Fords are like $200, you know. So the Tri-5 Chevys went for a little more money, but yeah. So kids had them, you know.
There are a lot of nice older cars out there, and probably if you went to some events like this and talked to some people, that would lead you to stuff that people were ready to get rid of, I would guess. Occasionally.
I've really had a chance to drive even 50s cars. Yeah, you know, and that's because of my age. 50s cars were inexpensive, and, you know, so that's what I could get. That's what I could get cheaply. See, I always like this 67 Chevelle. I always like 66 and 67 Chevelle dashboards because that thing up on the top where all the knobs are is up above all the instruments. I kind of like that. And the key switch is up there. And I had a 66 wagon for a while, and I had a 67 Chevelle with a 6-cylinder and an automatic. And I've thought about it. I wish I had that 67 Chevelle. It was a really nice car. And I got it. I think I paid $50 or $100 or something because it had a knock in the engine. But when I got it that night, I got started up. I put it up on stands and decided to slide underneath and see if the knock was where it was coming from. I got under there, and there was no cover on over the torque converter. And the three studs coming out of the torque converter had just regular nuts on them. They didn't have lock nuts, so those had backed off. So I tightened those three nuts up, and there was no knock. So the knock was a torque converter banging on the flex plate. So it was at my radiator shop. I went across the street parts store, bought some washers and bought some lock nuts and put them on there. And that thing, what a perfect sounding engine after that.
You know what that reminds me?
Yeah.
I bought ARP torque converter bolts for.
Oh.
I recently acquired. Oh, this is a big announcement. I recently acquired a small block 727 transmission. So that will be a upcoming video where I have no idea what it's it came out of a trailer park, so you know it's a crackhead, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, no one's been in it. You could tell by the grease and dirt that no one's had it open. So I don't know. We'll see.
Mexican Spec had that 396M on a 67 Impala wagon. Man, I love 67 Impala wagons. Man. That's just, I like the instrument panel on them. I like the looks of them. I like driving them. I had a friend that had one. God, he had nothing but 57 Fords, and he bought that Chevy, and we drove that thing around a lot. And it was kind of funny. He had a Chevy, but I liked that thing. Is this the Mercury?
It is.
Yeah, this must be Canadian because it's a Mercury truck. And it's
beautiful. All the emblems restored beautifully. It was just so pretty.
It's a 66. Has an FE, but I don't know which size FE it is. If it was probably 390 if it's original, or who knows what it is. By now it could be anything. But it's an FE engine. But it looks so strange to see it say Mercury across there. Unless the Canadians probably see that.
Hey, Clint.
Hey, Clint, how you doing?
We're going over a car show that we recently attended and filmed. So we're not doing lots of greetings just yet. We'll get on with our regular stream format here. Actually, we're getting near the end of our car show review. We had a good time. Whoever did this restoration, it's just beautiful. It's real fun. Like wow, that's a nice looking truck.
Oh, it sounded good. It wasn't a real radical sounding truck. It just sounded good. You know, it was like this thing, you'd probably drive it anywhere.
And it felt new. That's the crazy that you walk around it and you don't get antique. It's like
look at that
restored,
dash.
new.
Did you see the dash
Everything's
cover?
New.
You see the dash pad?
Yeah.
It's just looks
Just
perfect.
beautiful. So, I mean, and this is just a little local car show, and it was
I
really
didn't
fun.
see Jim's Fastback Garage. I didn't see him in here
Easy
yet.
to get there, easy to park.
How you doing, Jim?
Really fun, like really sweet people. Small. We couldn't even see all the cars. It was small, but we still couldn't even get to all the cars. You know, just walk around and film and look at each one for a few minutes, and hours went by. We were there for 2.5 hours.
That's That's Danny Boyd's favorite car, Checker, because he went for a wild ride in a Checker one
And
time.
he saw this car the week before
Yep.
at a show, and so we did a little walk around, and then we ran into the owner of the car, who we'll see in the next clip, because I have 2 clips of this vehicle. And being a Checker, it's kind of, I don't know why it's special because it's a Checker, but it is. It's a Checker. It's special. You don't see them, but they're neat. Nothing so old as a Model A at this car show.
No, there were no. The oldest car was probably that whatever it was, 46 or 7 Chevy, whatever that really nice old Chevrolet.
Yeah. It was well done.
Checker, I love these things. What a great car. Things like built like just built like a tank, you know.
In well-used driver condition. There was some rust holes on it, and
But it's a
on the
70.
hood.
He said it was a 71. So for a 71, this is as a driver, is exceptional shape.
Yeah, yeah, and he put upgraded seats that weren't anything special in it, and he said that he had not had it for very long, but that he had other Checkers as
KJ
well.
Carley, how you doing? We're going over a car show we went to, but we're probably about done.
This, I believe, is Checker 2 is the last video, so we've only got a couple minutes left.
You didn't get that 63 Ford, did you? Or was that what it was? 63. Yeah, it was 63 Ford, the one that had the hood that opened backwards.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, I don't remember.
The next time I'm at a show, local Clarksville show, I hope that guy's there with that 63 Ford, because it's
This guy was great. They were sitting there, so he got up. He stood up to talk to us and move the chairs out of the way so we could get video of his car. He's very proud of it, even though he recognized that it wasn't perfect. And I don't think everything has to be perfect.
Oh, I'd love to drive that around. That could be a daily driver, and you wouldn't have to worry about it. Like somebody looking around at the paint. It's like something with, with tons of clear over it or something. You could just drive this. It'd just be fun.
I really liked that, looking at these older cars and people's restorations, that it gave me a lot to think about in regards to like what I felt was important and what was cosmetically pleasing to me in the way of updates. And like when people take these emblems and have them re-chromed and redo the color in them, they just pop. They're just so nice.
And look under the hood of that. There's a late model aftermarket air conditioning with a small compressor and tubing that's routed in a way that it's not taking up a lot of space. So, he can drive around with AC in this thing. It is pretty good. Really good.
There were no
Checker,
younger guys. A lot of older guys.
Yeah. Yeah, there weren't. Were there any older people there? Man, I'm looking around. In the background, that Ford was kind of to the right here. It's parked toward the back. I don't know if you can get it in there or not. I don't know. Man.
Very utilitarian.
Yeah, look at that.
Cute. And the steering wheel, of all things, was the biggest giveaway that it was a car from the late 70s, not from the 50s.
The old Checkers had big steering wheels, and when they started using Chevrolet stuff, they got the smaller steering wheel. The first one of those I drove. See, I used to service cars back in that era, so I'd get a Checker in once in a while. And those ones, the steering wheel felt too small, too high, too far away. It just felt funny, but I could get used to it. This wheel is bad enough before they yeah, the cover looks terrible, but that's okay. You guy wants a cover on it, I guess.
All right.
I was going to say something about this 63 Ford that was back there. And the hood was open backwards and it kind of rolled forward and up. And I walked over and it was sitting kind of low. It just set right and everything, and it was black. And I walked over to look at it. I'm looking at it. I look inside, and then I notice what it is. The inside, the whole inside was Crown Vic, like a police car.
Oh yeah, we didn't get any
And then
shots of that
I
car.
looked under the hood, and it was all late model Crown Vic stuff. And as I stand back and I look at it, I realize what they've done. They've taken all 63 Ford sheet metal and put it on a somehow, I don't know which part was which, but everything was like a late model car, like a late model, like 2000s Crown Vic, and everything on the outside it was 63 Ford, and it was done really well. And I was really looking for the person that owned that thing, but they weren't around. And later we came and looked at it, and the hood was closed. So I knew the person had been around, but once again couldn't find the owner. So if I see that car again, I'm going to be looking for.
So we could talk more about the car show, but I just want to mention for the stream as a whole that's the end of our review of our car show. We're going to go back to our. At this time, we're returning to our regular format. So we're going to say hello to anybody that we have not seen yet. Thank you, Mexican Spec, for being our moderator here, as always. Alum, Clint, let's scroll up. Rick, Jim's Fastback Garage,
Clint,
Hot Rod Guy Garage.
And Clint, I just watched one of your
Kylie.
videos. Let's see here.
Okay, if I didn't catch your name, say hello again. If you're still here watching,
I would walk away
like.
from a 63
Agreed.
Galaxy on a Crown Vic chassis so fast. Yeah, but you know what? Somebody put a lot of work into it, and I thought it would be worth talking to the person. I don't know if I'd like that or not, because I like the 63 and 64. Well, everything from 60 to 64. I like the chassis on that so well that I'd never do that. But somebody put a lot of time in it and did a great job on it. So, yeah, I wanted to talk to the person.
Yeah. We are in our dyno room.
Oh.
We've returned from the car show to our dyno room.
And you asked me to put a picture up there so you could put it in the background.
Oh, okay,
I did that for you, and you put dinosaurs up
well,
there.
that's okay. Here, let's
You
see.
put the dinosaurs.
There we go.
Yeah, I don't know
All
whose
right.
that is or anything else. It's
Back
just
to the driveway. With
snagged
Buck
off,
and Kim.
snagged off the internet.
Slide us over.
What
Here.
the heck?
There we go.
What's going on here?
And we have our microphone. What kind of microphone is this?
It's a D104.
We have our D104 microphone.
Kim likes this microphone. It's actually backwards. It's facing away from us. It's so people can hear you. So, it's an old CB or amateur radio microphone, and she likes it, so we put it here as if we're using it, when really, now we're going to make some noise. Really, we're using this thing, which is actually, you said that wasn't a real expensive mic, but it was. Oh, how do we sound tonight? We made some sound changes. How do we sound? Is there enough audio, or is it, God, we should ask that first.
I asked earlier and no one commented, so I was hoping that meant it was okay.
That's my dad's mic for his C. Your dad was into CBs? Yeah, a lot of people had these. This is the first one I've ever had, because I like the Turner Plus 3. Anybody that's into CBs would know what that is. But the D104, I found one used and grabbed it. So.
And it was shiny.
Says you sound pretty good, sound great. Okay, because Kim's a little quiet.
That's because he's just a loud man.
Because I'm a loudmouth. So
Yeah.
She tells me I gotta talk too low and my sounds are so good. So I'm trying not to do that. Oh, and I came in here. Yes, but we had our own CB club with a couple of. Oh yeah, that's how it was. Not like that anymore. Now there's a CB club with a couple of 100 members, and they're on YouTube, and they're worldwide. There's only a couple hundred of us. Adam Culbertson. Culbertson. My godfather's last name was Culbertson. Sounds good. Those darts, probably my favorite area. Yeah, 69 dart. I love 69 darts. That's my favorite year of darts. And I wish I had one, but 72 Valiant. It's the same chassis, so it's nice to have. See, Kim was getting ready, and I'm sitting here going, man, my neck looks all red. It always looks like it's infected, you know? And something with the light, it looks red, looks terrible. As I look in the mirror, nothing wrong with my neck. So she says, it's the lighting. So she comes over here and she starts messing with the lighting, and we're trying to make it a little bit better. And she bumped something and unplugged the monitor. Well, then, this is why we were late. Well, then she goes, I got to turn that back on. Then I got to reboot because you can't just put that back on there, blah, 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 whatever, all the engineering stuff. So she's over here fussing around with it. And it was 10 minutes of fussing around with it. It went by like 1 minute, but it was 10 minutes. So then she was late getting ready, and it just all went to hell because we were messing with a light, you know, and tripped over a cord.
Well, while we're talking about the 38 POS Racing is saying they have a 23 channel, and recently he got from the family of a friend who had passed on a ham radio with some modifications for different bands, and we have an antenna which will be being mounted on the house here shortly. So in the background, things are happening. We've been distracted from cars with other pursuits and hobbies, which you can do when you're not monetized and you're really not bound by an employer. You can do whatever you want. So that we're building us a base station.
There's a picture here I want to put on the screen.
Of what?
For 38 POS Racing, because I found it last night and I said, I'm going to have that, and I just got to find it. Oh, I know where I put it. Do I have it here?
Danny Boyd, I didn't say hello to you. Or maybe I did at the very beginning. 68 with the round marker lights. They are very classic. They're nice. I am partial to the grill on a 72 Dart because I had one at the end of high school, and I traded it for a Monte Carlo. I wish I'd not have traded it, but it was rusty and I didn't have the ability, the skills, or the knowledge to care for that car, so gone with the wind. But I am partial to that, and I had the back end jacked way up in the air on air shocks, and it was like, it looked like a Cali style, with the back end back up, and it was baby blue, and it was a lot of fun for a couple of years. I put an 8 3/4 rear end in it, and put some quick gears in it, and it'd go around doing burnouts, and I thought I was
such
cool.
an idiot. I lost this.
Well,
You know what happened? I put it in some folder. Well, 38 PLS, I had this here for you, and I bet it's on my computer in the bedroom because I probably didn't transfer it over to my hard drive.
Mexican spec, that rust in the quarters, unfortunately, where I'm from, turns into rust in the, the channels that go, like the extensions in the back, the trunk extensions, and I was not equipped to replace them, and where I live, the state where I live, they have safety inspections, and those must be, up to a standard, and I did not know how to bring them up to a standard. And at the time, it was like, $500 or $600 car, and it was like $800 worth of repairs to get the rust fixed at the time, and I was just like, no, can't do that. And then the motor, I replaced the motor because it had lower oil pressure, started knocking. I replaced the motor. Then I replaced the motor again, and then I got rid of the car because it was, I don't know.
My 69 Dart had the flat hood, not this. It was this color or awful darn close. Didn't have these wheels on it. Didn't have the stripe on the back. But that's the one I put the Pontiac Iron Duke in and drove it around for years like that. And that's when the Pontiac Iron Duke was a current brand new engine. It only had 2,200 miles on a wrecked car when I got it. Okay, Alan Drab. Speaking of antennas, mind if I bend your ear about some basic related things? I have some CB and shortwave stuff here, and have to order things. Okay, because this is a car channel and everything. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I will
Let's
spend.
talk about
But I
it.
will. Well,
Talk
wait a minute.
about
Let
it.
me.
You
Let
like
me.
it.
But wait a minute. Let me finish.
Okay.
But I said I'll talk about it a little bit, but I don't want to get too carried away with it. But yeah, I'll talk about it a little bit. Let's see here. If you want to meter things to match antennas and transceivers, which high school? Which high school? Which high school? Somebody's talking about high school. I went to San Luis Obispo High School in California, but I don't San Luis Obispo. Yeah, but everybody there Americanized San Luis Obispo. And then there's a town, a city right by where I lived in Arizona that's right on the border, the American side and the Mexican side, border right down the middle of the town, is San Luis. San Luis. Spelled the same way. Iron Dukey. Man, I love the Iron Duke, but now they're all old and, a 40-year-old engine. Did Buff just say he put an Iron Duke in a Dart? Yes, I did. Mexican spec. Here's what happened. There was a woman I knew, had some kids, and my first wife and I babysat these kids a little bit, and then she had kind of a crappy job, and she was getting her education, and she had a 69 Dart that was a slant six, had a couple 100,000 miles on it, and I kind of helped her maintain it. And I just do stuff for it. I never charge her anything because she's struggling with life, So she finished her education, got a job as an engineer with the phone company, and she started doing well. And she bought a Nissan, then Datsun 280Z, I think, one of the 4-seat ones, so she put all her kids in it. And she gave me the Dart. She goes, here, you can have it. You helped me all these years, and I know you like it. You can have the Dart. So I had the Dart, and I drove around smoking, not me smoking, car smoking out the back, stinky, completely worn out slant six. Well, I was doing a conversion for a guy, putting an Iron Duke in a like a 1942 or 43 military Jeep. Well, the guy sold the Jeep while I had it, and the guy that bought it took the old engine till he was going to go restore it, period correct. So there I am with this Iron Duke and an automatic transmission. The Iron Duke had 2,200 miles on it. Came out of a late model. It was 1980 then. Came out of a 1980 something that was wrecked. Just looked brand spanking new. The transmission, I remember, stamped right on or written on in that yellow junkyard stuff, said 969 miles. So one night, I'm in the shop. I used to work all night a lot. I'm in there by myself, and I'm looking at this car with this sad old engine in it. I'm kind of laughing at myself. I'm thinking, man, an Iron Duke probably has as much power as that thing does. So I rolled the engine hoist, pulled it out, made a set of engine mounts with a MIG welder, put the Iron Duke in there, and it was like, oh man, this far from the radiator. But I didn't care. I had to get some longer radiator hoses. I think I put some, because I finished it that night. I finished everything except the drive shaft and the alternator. So then I think I even found a drive shaft that worked because I was able to move the car, but it didn't have an alternator. So the guy that I was with, the shop was with another guy. We were like partners. And he was an electrical guy. So he set it up with the GM alternator. So, man, you open the hood on this, and then the front end was real high. So because it was really light up front then. So I cranked the torsion bars down so it was level. It just looked perfect. I drove it around. It had as much power as the slant did. It's a worn out slant, but it was a new engine. And you open the hood on it, and there was an air cleaner. It said, keep your GM vehicle all GM. Drove it around for a long time like that. And then I traded it to my friend Carl. He had it for a long time, and he sold it to somebody. I kind of wish I still had it, because now I'd probably have a 360 or something in it, maybe a slant, who knows. But I'm sure the Iron Duke could be out of it by now. It was almost like a joke, because that engine didn't belong in that car. But it was just such a nice car to drive like that. There's nothing wrong with it. Could I message you? 1CB. Okay, if you want to message me, yes. I'll talk to you about CB radios all you want. Just Buff Del Campo at gmail.com. Man, I haven't checked my email in a couple of days. So I'll check it after we're finished with live. And yeah, write me a book. I don't care. I'll talk about CB radios. Sure. Obispo means bishop in English. Yes, it was St. Louis, the bishop. San Luis Obispo. Toulouse. San Luis Obispo was San Luis Obispo de Tolosa was the actual name of that the mission that was there that the town was named after. Her family was on Civil Air Patrol for many years. Oh man, my son was in Civil Air Patrol before he went, while he's still in high school, junior high and high school. Man, I'm kind of behind on everything. Let's see here, Duke of Earl. Yep, Duke of Oil. See, and now it's like the Iron Duke's a big joke, and everybody tells what a terrible engine it was and everything. 40 years later, when they're still running,
But I mean,
really,
at the time, it was a brand new engine.
I had a brand new one with a feedback carburetor on it, and it ran great. And later, I had S10 pickups with the Iron Duke in it. Never had a problem with them. My S10, I had a first generation S10 with an Iron Duke with the well, I always call it single port fuel injection, throttle body fuel injection. That thing was so slow. Had a manual 4-speed in it. It was extremely slow. And I went and weighed it one time, and it was over 4,000 pounds. I was like, oh, that's why it's so slow. I had no idea those little pickups were that heavy. Probably good on gas, the Iron. Yeah, it was. It was probably like 23, 24 miles a gallon in that old Dart. There's a street where I grew up called Obispo. Obispo. I still have my uniform and ID. Man, 308 PS. I got a picture. I saved it for you. Okay, next week I'll show it. I just messed up and didn't get it on this hard drive. Chance of cannonballs. Hello, Raining Slant 6. Raining Slant 6, man. A lot of Chevette stuff and Chevettes. I'd like 75% casualties immediately. Oh, geez. I had a friend that he was a tech at a Chevy dealer when the Chevette came out. I think it was 76. I think it was 76, I think. And those things were sitting all over the lot. They couldn't sell them. And it was kind of a joke with us. I said, man, they sell any of those things yet? Well, Chevrolet used to have these kits to update cars. And the joke at the Chevy dealer was they were going to come out with a 77 kit to update all the 76s they couldn't sell. But then they started selling. They actually sold a lot of them. I had a friend that had a Chevette, and he liked it. But
You think that'll happen with the electric cars? They'll start selling a lot of them?
I have no idea what will happen with those things. Sadly, they're being forced upon us, and they've put so much money in the engineering and design and building them that I think the market's flooded, and I don't know what they're going to do with all these things.
I mean, they're going to be cheap. They're going to be clearance them. They're going to desperately want to get rid of them.
Yeah, but then
they're going to start showing up in secondary markets with people desperate to get rid of them.
You got to charge things. I guess if you have a home with 220 and you put this thing there, but then they tell you not to charge them inside your garage. You got to have them outside. I don't know. It needs some sorting out. Wasn't ready for prime time.
I mean, there's still a lot of people.
My opinion is wasn't ready for prime time, and we got it anyway. So I don't know. We'll have it'll play out somehow. Sure.
Yeah, I agree. Like some of the cars, they were. But if you got a good one, you got a good one, and you were golden.
And what's people are stealing the wire. They're wiring. Is that why the Tesla chargers don't work? Man, I saw there's a thing that looks like a tow truck, but it comes out and it's got a giant generator in the back that's diesel, and it's for people who get stuck in their electric cars, and they can plug it in and they sit there like for an hour and a half alongside the road and run this diesel generator to charge their electric car. Oh my God. It's
I've
kind
owned
of funny to look
two
back.
or three Chevettes. They were okay. They were garbage little cars, but
I look back 40 to 50 years what I was. You see that Ford Tech that you're showing right there?
yeah.
That that's the S10 engine that I had, and that is nothing. They just drove fine. They were slow because it's so damn heavy, but
Yeah,
they
and
were
then
they were okay.
what did they get? About 125,000 miles, and they're kind of worn out.
I bought and sold a lot of Chevettes. People bought them quickly. That's the thing. The first year they didn't sell, but then they did. So there were people who liked them.
They put a calendar instead of a
Well,
speedometer.
they make, yeah. Who said that? Where is that?
Dougster. Dougster Wolverine Garage.
VW Diesel's my friend had a Chevette Diesel. Oh, Chevette Diesel. Did it even move? Got 55 miles a gallon, but yeah. Those little VW Rabbit pickup trucks. I always liked those, except all of them, or almost all of them, had diesel, so they stink so bad, and I just didn't like the engines. But I sure like those little trucks. The Chevrets were not okay. The steering column was at an angle. I remember that. There's no room for your legs. Yeah, they were. Of course, I got short legs, but I drove Chevettes a couple of times, but I never had one. And they smell funny inside. Geez, Chevettes, man. Anyway, I look back 40 to 50 years, which is kind of the era when I was working on all those cars. And I remember new cars, and it's like the Iron Duke. I remember that as being a really good engine. Although most of my friends didn't like them because they were into the, small block Chevys and stuff. So, but I think it was a pretty good engine. There's some other cars that like the Chevette. People make fun of those things, and the Gremlin. People really make fun of the Gremlin, and the Gremlins. They like the Hornet, but they don't like the Gremlin. They think it's a bad car. It's the same damn car. They just lopped the back off, And it's kind of funny to me that they think one's a good car and one's not a good car when everything underneath's the same. So I don't know. I just remember stuff as being different than somebody that's introduced to it today. Yeah, Gremlins are still here. Oh yeah, you got Gremlins down there. Hey, did that Mexican spec? Did that blue, green, whatever it is, that Matador AMX? Did that thing sell? Man, Gremlins were Olive's dream. Dream car in the 70s. Okay, Olive, you got me now. Olive, tell me about this. People call you Olive, but then you're Olive. Well, I don't get it. I had a friend when I had my Cougar with that 327 in it and really low gears. You probably know, everybody knows about my Cougar. My friend, my closest friend at the time, had a Gremlin with a 429 Ford with a tunnel ram on it. Oh my God, I mean, that thing was so much fun. That was crazy. Let's get a shit. Oh, you beat a dragster to finish time with. Man, Chevette. Yeah, I had a friend that drove his Chevette. The whole time I knew him, that's all he had was that old Chevette. It was kind of dull blue, been in the sun too long Chevette. I picked up a silver and black. It's originally a diesel, but the engine was catastrophic damage, so I put a 16 valve GTI. Oh man! Oh man! There's my kind of truck. A Rabbit pickup with a 16 valve GTI. Oh man! Would I like that? Sticking maybe it'll be when I was 5. A neighbor had a Gremlin X. According, I wanted a green one. Yeah, I had a couple of Gremlins. I had one with just a 6-cylinder 258 in it. It was just an old beater, and couldn't get paperwork on it. I knew it wasn't stolen, but the paperwork got messed up on it. I was in California, and I was living on some property out in the middle of nowhere, and I just drove it around out there in the cow fields and up and down where trucks had driven, and I didn't tear up the land, but I just drove around from house to house, and out there. I gave it away when I left California. Sadly, gave it away. And the guy that got it, I think they did the same thing. They just drove it on their property. Uh, let's see here. I had a customer on a 1986 VW at Carbie Pro that had a VR6 swap. Okay, I'm not sure what all that is. It's black and beautiful. Backed out of the deal. Oh, man. Well, it was just new then, but had shifter and all the noise and little neighborhoods. I see. Oh, that's a rabbit. Okay. Well, Kim, what else have I've been running my mouth. Oh, look at that, a four-door rabbit pickup. Is that Mexican? Oh, I hadn't. You know, Kim, I put all those pictures together, and now there's a picture of something that I have on that file. Can you hold down the fort while I just go grab some pictures?
Sure.
I'm going to grab these because I got stuff I want to show to 308 POS. I got stuff I want to show to Mexican Spec, and I left it all somewhere. Oops. I just killed that. I'm sorry.
You killed it.
No, I'm sorry.
I know how to keep things going.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Oh, I remember my friends with Sirocco's. That was the thing. Everybody wanted one of those. People were jealous and envious when they saw one of those. Here, I'll just go to the dyno room. And, yeah. Boy, don't I look official, sitting in a room filled with dinosaurs. Sirocco? Say the name again. Is that wrong? Volkswagen Sirocco? You're gonna make fun of me now, I'm dumb. But, Scirocco? Like Shira? Scirocco. Mine was orange. Oh, an orange Sirocco. I remember a red or maybe burgundy one that a friend had. And then another friend had a Toyota Supra that was pretty badass, like an 87 Supra. It was pretty impressive. I have that Nissan 300ZX now. It's the closest thing I've had to something like that. But I need to build a motor for it. Maybe this winter. So I have a motor that's supposedly a good motor, right? But one of the ears is busted off the casting for the, the block. I don't know, maybe it can be repaired and then a new hole tapped. Or I was kind of thinking maybe we'll take the block that's in the car and see if we can use the block. I really don't know what's wrong with the motor that was in the car, but I was told that the motor that's in the car is not good. And they had started taking it all apart and then just abandoned it with the hood off, so I'm pretty sure it's bad. I haven't been able to get to it. Honestly, I bought the car just because I knew that the rear end in the car was like a really good rear end, and then I looked into it, and the transmission that's in the car is worth double what I paid for the whole car. And I got 2 sets of wheels with the car, and it's a 5-on-4.5 bolt pattern, so the spindles and the rear end and everything is really good for like hot rodding, because 5-on-4.5 is like the most common bolt pattern. So I bought it just for parts, but it's kind of a cool car with like, I got 2 sets of T-tops for it, all the glass is good. And I have all the body panels. Somebody started taking it apart to restore it, which is, classic basket caseism.
So you can look at that in the meantime.
What's that? You want me to look at that?
I don't know. I put a picture up there while I'm looking for the ones I'm really looking for.
Was that not my car?
That's your car. Well, it was your car.
Oh, we took that picture of the car when we dropped it off at the new owner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we sold that car.
I had a picture.
That's where I got the money to build the new shed. So,
here it is. Okay, I'm going to bring up another one. That is, I have a question for Mexican Spec. This car, it's a Maverick Shelby. Is this a Mexican spec thing? Or is this a US spec? I don't know what it is. Yeah, the red trash cans really bring out the green. You know what about those red trash cans that I noticed here? I'm going to take this down for a second.
The red trash can.
The
Oh,
red trash cans right there. You see what they say? They say airborne disposal. Do they come around with an airplane and clean those up?
drones pick up your trash. Yes.
Oh, why doesn't that close?
That car was a very vibrant green.
Oh, it was. It looked good out front. Okay, so Mexican spec.
Synergy
spec
green was their color. That was what it was called.
So, yes, it's a Mexican car built by Ford and Shelby. A 1969 Mustang Coupe was also made by Shelby. Okay, because, see, I really like that. I really like Mavericks, but I never saw anything like that. When I saw it, I thought, man, I bet that's Mexican.
What about it is different than what you're used to?
Well, it's
I'm
got
just curious.
Shelby, or it's like 65 Thunderbird, Shelby taillights, and it's got a spoiler in the back, and I think they had 302s in them. It's a Shelby Maverick. Really strange for here.
It's pretty slick. I like that car.
Okay, where's the picture for 38 PLS? I've got to find it. Here it is. Here it is. I just ran across this. And
I wouldn't be surprised if the company is owned by military people because we have a pretty large military base here in Fort Campbell, right near Clarksville. So there's a lot of military themed things here.
See, there's the car I saw. I just happened to run into this while I was looking for other stuff, and I thought, ooh. I'm a 59 Chevy fan too, so I got that for a 38 POS because it's I just posted on Instagram a 70 Ford Falcon Maverick 289. That's right, you still had 289s, 3 on a tree. Yeah, isn't that a cool looking 59? And of course, it looks like it's flying. Yeah, that's somebody, somebody built that. But it looks pretty cool, seeing it. Looks like it's really rolling. And you know what I liked? 59 and 60 Chevys had those little antennas in the back that are swept back. That was really cool back then. It was supposed to be like a jet, these swept antennas back there. And I think only one of them was hooked to the radio. I think the other one was just a decoration. But I think they both went up and down. It was like, there was a girl down the street from me who actually became really famous. She was a singer in a group back then called the Yankee Dollar, and then she ended up in Nashville, I think. Name was Liza Gonzalez, and she was a pretty famous vocalist for a while with a lot of different groups. But I was a little kid. She was 16, and so this hot-looking blonde 16-year-old girl in a 60 Chevy white convertible, and I remember it had those little antennas on the back. And it was pretty cool seeing her driving around in that thing. But, yeah, I was a little kid. I was 6 years old then. Fishing pole antennas, yep. Fishing pole antennas. Is that what they called those? Yep, one was a dummy. Next fixture. All the 59 GM cars were cool. Some of them were pretty gaudy. The Pontiacs with 4 fins in the back and the 59 Cadillacs. There was somebody running around with a 59 Cadillac back. It was shortly after, and they had another 59 Cadillac fin put in the middle. So it had 3 fins across the back. Yeah, I mean, they were pretty gaudy cars, but in 1959, I was in kindergarten, and I remember I loved all those cars, and my father thought they were terrible. I had a 59 Sedan DeVille. I was not impressed. They were really kind of complex cars for back then, but back then, I really liked the fins. 59 Cadillac. Thought that was great. I picked up a bunch of pictures, and this is one that's kind of funny, actually. That other than the wheels and the stickers, that's exactly like one of the 56 Fords I had. It was that color, is that awful pinkish orange color, and I got that car for $20 at an Oldsmobile dealer, and it had a 312 in it with a rod through the pan, and I had it towed. The guy didn't even want to sell it to me. Oh, Sonny, that car doesn't run. I go, it's okay. I want it. So he sold it to me for $20 from a dealer's lot, and it was an Oldsmobile Cadillac dealer, and I towed it home. And I bought a 66 Mustang that had been crashed in the front end, had a 289 and a C4 in it. And I put that 289 and a C4 in that wagon and drove it around for a long time. I was more or less born into the Melees era. Boatier was not better. Oh, my favorite color scheme on that Ford Nomad. Yeah, the Chevys had the Nomads, and I had that. It was not quite as nice looking as the Nomad. I think the 56 Ford was at least as good looking, except the top was not as good as the. Is that an Olds? Olds, where that wagon? That wagon's a 56 Ford. Start of the wide track, yeah, 59 Pontiac. They called it the wide track Pontiac, and the wheels on all the cars back then, those big wide cars, the wheels were tucked way under, except Pontiac. I got to that. Let's see, there's some other cars here that I found that I wanted to get some pictures of. And if any of you know who this gentleman is, back that off a little bit.
Oh, that's
That is.
It's probably illegal to say that.
That is.
Sorry.
Do you know who that is? That's
car designer.
Car designer Larry Shinoda, who worked for General Motors under Bunky Knudsen, and when Bunky Knudsen went to Ford in, I think, late 69 or early 70, became the president of Ford, he took Shinoda with him. And Shinoda's the guy that designed a lot of the 60s Corvettes. That's a Corvair that never was, it was a, what do they call it? A pre-production car that never became that's a clay model, never became real, but that was a Corvair. But he also did the 71 Mustang, 71, yeah, he did pass away not too long ago. Larry Shinoda was quite a guy. He was, if you all remember the history of World War II in the U.S., they took all the Japanese Americans and put them in camps, basically concentration camps, and people were treated okay. I mean, it wasn't like a German concentration camp, but they were basically imprisoned. Well, he was 10, 11, 12, 13 years old then. And what he did was they had some crates come in with some kind of supplies in them. And he took the crates and he designed like a recliner kind of chair. And he made these chairs for the families. So when he was 11, 12 years old in a prison camp, basically, he was already a designer, taking wood crates and making recliner chairs out of them for people. And he, part of that made him the great designer he was. And, he did a lot of stuff. It was really good stuff. That's about it. It was the Japanese Americans. They lost all their property. It was terrible. But really shitty circumstance. He made something out of himself, and he was one of those guys, quite a guy. And you look at the stuff he did, like the early 60s Corvette, 68 Corvette, the old Mako Sharks, all that. He had a hand in all that stuff. And of course the 71 Mustang that was his work. It's not my favorite car, but, I didn't like the fastbacks. They were just enormous. But the 71, 72, 73 Mustang coupes, I thought it was a work of art. Nice stuff. And what else? Mexican Speckle, like this one. This is something I found. This was on eBay at some point. And this was quite a few years ago. It was on eBay. Look at this, $31,000 reserve not met in this '66 Chevy wagon. So, I was wondering why. I don't know if I can zoom in enough on this. You can't read it. But I'll move on to the next one, which is, I don't know if I can do this. Will it do it? Maybe it will. Nope. It's a wrong picture. Okay, so, I don't know where the picture is. Boo. Where is the picture? Oh. Here it is.
Welcome, Dr. Go.
Here it is.
There is some
Dr.
rewatchability to the stream, the early part of the stream where we went to a car show, where we filmed a car show. So you can go back and rewatch. But
this is why this '66 Chevy wagon was going for so much money.
Oh, it's got a 427.
427 and a 4-speed factory
In a wagon, yeah.
in a wagon. And here's the window sticker, the original window sticker, which I thought was just really cool. It shows the base price is $3,000, and there's a couple of things here: tinted windows, $20, all this kind of stuff. That 390 horse 427 was $313 extra, and the 4-speed manual transmission with a tachometer was $230, and that made that car worth everything later. Yeah, that's it. It actually says that, doesn't it? Yeah, L36. 427. Yeah, amazing. Thanks, Kim. Dr. Go. I just watched something from Dr. Go. What was it? I was telling you about it.
Oh, gosh.
I was just telling you about it. Like yesterday or the day before.
I think I watched a bunch of stuff from him that I don't think I was subscribed, and then I pulled him up.
Back to that.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure.
I don't remember either because
It'll come to me.
It was just,
Are we looking at more stuff, more pictures that you have, or am I going back to...
I got all kinds of
Mama
stuff.
could haul the groceries, that's right. In a hurry.
Does anybody like wood valve covers?
Only if it's real wood.
That's a heck of a paint job.
Yeah, but no. It's not the right thing.
Somebody did that.
Yeah. So someone did that. There's no...
Somebody did that.
Someone did that. Yeah.
Here's an interesting picture. That's my Corvette. But what's interesting is back here, there's the welding rig that I have today, my MIG machine, except that's the old, everything there is what I have now except the machine itself. That's the 100 amp Lincoln that I had so much trouble with, and I replaced it with the 140 Hobart, which I just love that machine. But you know what, Kim? That's the same bottle of gas. It's the same cart.
Same gas bottle, yeah.
Same cart. Oh, we can't talk about that. Same gas bottle. And then...
he misses that Corvette.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll see one, and I think, I should get him that Corvette. And then I think, what? Get your own Corvette.
I grabbed a bunch of these pictures yesterday because I thought they were interesting. I just stuck them in a folder. Here's an interesting picture. A whole line of brand new 67 Camaros don't even have the hubcaps on them yet at a Chevrolet dealer. That front one there is a SSRS, which is, mine was a light, really light gold color, but it was identical to that. It had the RS nose piece on it, had the stripe around it. It was just, man, why did I let that go? There were so many of them that it didn't matter. They were cars that were worth some hundreds of dollars, you know.
Yeah, well, it was probably like Mustangs are now. Mustang, they're everywhere.
You know, the C4, Mexican spec says C4 is not for older person. The door sill is very wide. You know why they raised that up so high? Because it was not a T-top. It was a removable panel. And when you take that panel off, that car is flexible. And even with that deep door sill, it's more than a sill. That's a chunk of structure. you can still feel the flexibility in that car. But I could get in and out of that thing okay. I still miss it. Man, I still miss it. Geez, oh well. They were new. Oh, about the Camaros. Those Camaros weren't new when you. How old are you, Mexican Spec? You remember those Camaros? No. I was 67. I was 12 years old when those came out. 13 years old when those came out. But I had one later, much later. I'm just leaving that up there in the background. What else am I looking for? What is this? I don't even know what that is. Don't know.
Your face is going off the street.
Oh, I'm going off this. Yeah, I cut
cut
myself in half there. That's pretty good. And then there's cars that never happened, like this. Why didn't GM ever do the 4-door Monte Carlo? That's an odd one. That probably wouldn't have sold real well. Might have.
They'd have sold some of them.
They might have lost their tail on it too.
I mean,
We
how
all
much
have a
different would
car
that
we
had to
regret
be?
parting with. Mine was a 38 Chevy Master Deluxe. Went to Tyler, Texas, I think back in 86. Horrible. God, they didn't. And then there's other ones that, remember Dick Teague? Remember Dick Teague? The designer from AMC. That's the AMX3 that they built, what, 3 or 4 of them?
That looks like the Mach 5.
Is that a, yeah, I got pictures of that too.
That is really slick.
And then,
That looks like a
actually-
Matchbox car. It doesn't even look like a real
actually-
car.
oh, that's a real car, right? They weren't just clay models. They actually drove those things around. There's the interior.
It's
That's
nice.
that's AMC did that.
Hmm.
I don't know. They just didn't. They never built it in mass, I have other pictures of that thing. Here's another picture of it from the side. Well, that's a different one. That's one of the other of several of them. I just think that's a great looking car, And the way this tail end goes up right here kind of reminds me of the Matadors. Matador wasn't as deep as that, but it was the same kind of flare. Okay, I'm not reading this. I love the swivel seat idea with Monte Carlo. Let's see here. I was trying to explain to Buff and Kim, anybody else that's rebuilding racing.
Slant 6.
Oh, no kidding. Slant 6. There's
We've got
some
2 of
lesser
them.
known details about stock oil pump after. Oh, God, I didn't go back and look at all that. But I was telling Kim about it, or maybe you were sitting here, and we decided we need to look at that stuff. But ours has good oil pressure. It's working well. And so I don't know. We'll learn something, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've looked into some of that, but you never know what you don't know. There's so many particularities about these cars. So, yeah, check out that content. That when you take the deep dive and you really take time to research and like we depend on people to do that and give us feedback so that we can do better with our builds and modifications. So we will look into it. Yeah.
That's mine with my shop in the background.
Oh,
Yep.
I miss
You
it
see,
already.
I put the LED backup lights in it,
Yeah.
and the license number JLU 496 was the first license plate on my dad's '56 Ford when he bought it. And as a little kid, I was 2 years old, so I memorized that license number because that's really important to a 2-year-old,
Yeah,
So years later, license numbers got longer, and I had many, many, many of them. And every time I'm at a hotel or I'm in a rental car, what's the license number? I go to write it down. It's like, I have no idea. I have to go out in a parking lot, take a picture of it. So, so, uh, so when I got this Corvette, I was in Arizona, so I got that as a personalized plate. So when I get to a hotel, I can remember the license plate because I remember my father's first license plate in his '56 Ford, and it was available, so I got it. I still have that license plate around here somewhere. Got to hang that up. Yeah, JLU, not JLo. Yeah, JLU 496. I remember that. It was like I was 2 years old. What's important to a 2 year old? License plate number on his dad's car. Oh yeah. Oh, and there, right in the background. Look at that. Oh, you can't see it up there, but you can see it down here. You just barely see it right there. Kim, you can't see that car. That's my the car you never saw. That's my Dodge Caliber. Yep.
Oh, okay. Dodge Caliber is cool.
Let's see what else. Oh, why doesn't that?
You know what I didn't get to talk about?
Yeah, talk. I'm talking too much. What, Kim?
I was reading about the oil boiling and creates an oil vapor bubble. Boy, maybe it needs an oil cooler if it's getting so hot.
What is
I
this?
guess you could boil the oil in an engine.
Well, that
Adequate
gets rid of the
cooling.
water.
Well, yeah, but the oil could still interesting. I'm have to look up what he's talking about there.
Mexican spec. Can you get me license plates, or do they cut them up and throw them away in Mexico? I'd like to have a couple of Mexican license plates. God, Mexico has some of the nicest looking license plates, colorful in pictures, and they're so cool. 17B 323 on Dad's 59 from the beginning. See, isn't that weird? You remember stuff like that when you're a kid. YC8 101 on my dad's 60 Dodge. He had a 60 Dodge Dart. See, a Dodge Dart then was a giant car. It wasn't a little car. Man, I know exactly what that car looks like. I remember when those things came out. The fins on the back. They used to be colorful. They are not anymore. Really? Yeah, because I remember like a few years ago, there were some really colorful Mexican license plates. They probably got too expensive to produce, and they did the same thing here. No comment on getting you plates, okay. Every once in a while I see
Have
some...
you looked at where your package is? Did it ever move out of Mexico?
No, I didn't check it today. I checked it yesterday. It's still sitting in Monterey. Mexican spec. Maybe you have a better tracking than I do. I'm using some kind of a Mexican tracking, and it went... Oh, it just left Mexico. Okay, because yesterday it was sitting in Monterey. Excellent. That means it's going to get stuck in our system now. Jeez, isn't this fun? We called it the Green Monster, the 60 Dodge Dart. I may ask again later. Okay, let's see. The other package I sent off the same day has been delivered. Yeah, the other one set still. I don't know. You told me it was a Friday and the guys in the post office were more interested in going having their afternoon beer, so they, probably sat there. It's at the bottom of the pile. I don't know. Just the way it is. The stuff that's late, it bothers me is it's something that I need in a hurry, and it's this, I don't even know what it is, so it's kind of interesting. I'm looking forward to it. The other thing what else was I tracking at the same time? And I got it. But it came from the US. What was it? I was tracking something else at the same time. I don't remember. Seemed so important at the time. Current Postmaster General sabotages a lot of shipping. I don't know what's going on there. Mexican Spec sent me the side marker lights for the 72 Valiant. They came right out of Mexico quickly. They got into Miami, and they sat there in customs in Miami for over a week. Then they're here the next day. It was just crazy. It sat in Miami for it was over a week. Those 4 lights sat there. Let's see here. It took about a month to get an eBay buy from Texas to Nebraska. That sounds about right. You know what was bad is back during the the medical problem we had in 2020. Things got really slow. I had a friend send me a check, and it was $100 check. And she's like, "Did you get it yet? Did you get it yet? Did you get it yet?" I got it over 3 months later, and it said on the check it was void after 90 days. It's like, you got to be kidding me. The check finally got here in an envelope. Man.
Okay, I have a question for Rainy Sanchez.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so he's saying that vaporized oil bubbles get transferred to the pressure side of the generator. For oil to boil, it would have to be a higher boil. It'd have to boil. I don't know why it's doing that. For oil to boil, it would have to be hotter than what? 250?
Oil, it depends on the additive package. It depends on all kinds of things. Oil boils at a high temperature.
But I mean, if your temperature, you would have to be in the overheat range. You're going to be blowing coolant out of your radiator to be hot enough to boil oil. Do you have some kind of evidence or proof that oil is getting hot enough to boil inside of the oil pump?
Or is it water that's in there and it's actually the water's boiling out of it?
Well, yeah, but if
I
there
don't
was
know.
water in it, it would evaporate out
it'd
pretty
come out.
quickly.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm like evidence-based. Like what happens? These little implosions hammer the surface of the water or oil impeller or gear teeth and leave pock marks. Fault's mistake for debris damage.
Where is this?
It's the very last comment right now.
Yeah, I'm reading it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Where is this boiling coming from? Where is the energy that makes the oil hot enough? Is it because you're compressing the oil?
Mexican spec, I'm noticing that
So the suction
it's getting better.
is causing it to be able to boil? You shouldn't have that much.
Oil will boil at a lower temperature if under a vacuum.
Yeah, but pulling the oil out of the pan shouldn't be that much vacuum.
Guns and gears. Hello, and
Hi, Guns and Gears.
see what he says?
Yes.
You didn't react to that.
I did. I said hi.
But
I
he says, "Hi,
smiled.
pretty lady. See, you got your hair all done nice.
I'm trying to look
nice. It looks good." Cost some money to send the package all over the. Oh man, there's a story I want to tell. Let's see. How can I tell the story without giving away anything I'm not supposed to give away?
Maybe don't tell it.
I had to ship a shipment like way around the world on FedEx, and I did a lot of this when I was working for somebody. And it was a huge, huge box. Took up 3 positions in a 747. And that's a lot of room. So it was a big old expensive shipment. And I sent quite a few of these items. And they were going way around the world. So I sent this one. And amazingly, it only take like 2 days usually to get it to Kandahar, halfway around the world. So I shipped this box, and I tracked it FedEx, and it got to Paris, and usually go on from Paris, but it didn't. Came back to it got scanned in again in Memphis, and then a few hours later it got scanned in again in Paris, and then it went to Kandahar, and it really wasn't late. It amazed me. It made 3 trips across the Atlantic. I know what they did. They scanned it in the airplane, and they didn't unload it. And it was a mistake. But it amazed me that it made 3 trips across the Atlantic, and it still wasn't really very late. I'll say this for FedEx. I shipped a lot of stuff around the world with FedEx. They never lost anything, and they never broke anything. Just amazing. Amazing service. Amazing service. Um, I just ordered a holster for something from Michigan. It bounced around Ohio for a week. The directions showed up like a week late. Not that it's a hurry. You ordered a holster. Wow. Um, yeah, back during like 2020, 2021, I had stuff way late get shipped all over the place, and I was here, just crazy stuff. Yeah, as long as they don't charge you extra. Yeah, they didn't make any money on that, shipping that giant box across the Atlantic 3 times. You should have gone across the Atlantic once. I used to work on the docks at Yellow Freight, and buddy, if you got your shipment in one piece, it was a blessing. There were companies I shipped with, guaranteed they'd break stuff. Man, uh, God, I wish I could tell you all the stories. Like, yeah, it's just like crazy stuff. Uh, no, it's not just temp; it's the localized vacuum on suction side happens more often in dual gear pumps than Raider style gearator style pumps. Kim, you're missing this, but you can look at it later. She
Okay,
went
I'll be
somewhere.
in a second.
Well, yes, Buff. The liberals may not view it some boys. Julie, I thought you were not a gun person, but maybe the holster's for something else. I'm the kind, I like guns. I don't have any problem with guns or anything, but I don't have many guns. I used to have an AK, but I sold it because I needed the money. That's terrible. I sold my AK because I needed the money.
Yeah, that was a sad
It was
story.
a nice thing. Yeah, I got a 22 rifle, and yeah, but if I had a holster, it'd probably have some electronic piece of equipment in it, like a scanner or something, for a OBD2 scanner or something. I thought they gave rural deliveries to the USPS. Oh, what is this? Oh, FedEx comes. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and FedEx comes right up to our door and drops stuff off. So does UPS. And UPS has been pretty good. I had some problems with UPS for a while, but they've been good lately. And FedEx has been. I've had one trouble with FedEx, and it was a couple of years ago. I shipped a big box from Oregon to here, and I shipped it FedEx ground, and it took forever. And it was kind of beat up when I got it, but it was I was in Oregon for too long. So I was coming back on an airliner, and I didn't want to carry everything, so I shipped my dirty clothes home. Well, after a while, it's like, man, I can sure use those clothes. I'd like to wash them and wear them, but it just took forever. I don't know what happened. So that's the only real problem I've ever had with FedEx. Um, Everything else has been just great, and FedEx, like overnight FedEx stuff, and second day, it's just been wonderful. And all the way around the world. They won't do overnight, but they'll do darn close to it. And well, you got to pay for it, but its service was second to none. I had another company, and it was not UPS. UPS wouldn't deliver to Afghanistan, but another company that I shipped stuff, it just disappeared. The tracking number would just sort of go somewhere and never find it again. It's like, okay, don't use them anymore. And FedEx never missed a beat. Just amazing. I was brand new on the forklift. I might have been 20. I damaged a Larson door. It was a screen door. I was nervous, but my union rep was, yeah, don't worry about it. Well, FedEx, I'm sure they've broken something at some point, but my guess is they take care of it. Yeah, and I used to, anything that was worth more than the this is for a bang bang. If I'm in the South, take a few precautions. Uh, the I always bought insurance on everything, so.
Okay, before it's too far
What
gone.
happened to me was shipped ground. It was right. But I've shipped a lot of stuff FedEx ground, and it's been a reasonable amount of time. The dirty clothes, it just took forever. But I got them. I get stuff from up. Okay,
Um,
you scroll.
he mentioned that not just temp, it's localized vacuum. And so I'm just curious, in your videos, if you address some type of solution or some way to avoid it as much as possible in our builds. So as long as, if you can, if you do, then yeah, we can't wait to see that so that we're sure, because we have 2 slant 6s running and we don't really run anything hard. But it's nice to have it so that it's as durable as it can be. And usually the thing of it is racing pushes things to failure, and then you can roll those changes back into your everyday vehicles to make them last longer.
That's what I'm drinking.
Mountain Dew. Is that the coconut kind?
This is Baja Blast.
Oh, the Baja Blasts are
is
very
it Mexican?
popular.
No, it's just fake Mexican. Baja Blast. So, just to show I'm not drinking like green beer or something. Look at how green that is. Oh, can you see through it?
I don't know, but it matches the...
Look at that! You can see through
You can
the
see the
green because we got a
cardboard.
green screen, and my green drink disappears. That's pretty funny. Does it disappear?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Disappears
crazy
me.
thing.
Yeah.
Maybe the smell from your dinner cook. I really wasn't. I wrapped it all up in a towel and put it in there, and it was really nothing smelled. It was just, and I put some other things in there. I put some breakables in there, packed them in the dirty clothes. It was just T-shirts, and I don't like the airlines. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't like them. I don't like flying on the airlines. So I left Oregon, and I booked my own flight. I was supposed to go from Washington, because that was the nearest airport, from Tri-Cities, Washington, to Salt Lake City to Nashville. So what happened was it was middle winter, and there was weather. So all the airplanes are late. And I ended up standing around that airport for like 3 hours. Finally, my connecting flight in Salt Lake had already left before I even left Tri-Cities, Washington. So I knew I was in trouble. I got to, and I'm glad I wasn't carrying all that stuff with me, another whole bag. So I got to Salt Lake City, and it was Delta Airlines. The employees were great. They really helped me the best they could, but the whole system was messed up because of all the weather. So they ended up sending me to Atlanta, and I did not want to go to Atlanta because that's like an hour past where I live. It's like, oh man, I don't like Atlanta airport. It's huge. And I know, and I'm old and I'm tired and it's been up way too long. So I get to Atlanta and I'm there forever. And then I get a ride they find me a flight to Nashville. I get to Nashville. So my trip from Tri-Cities, Washington to Nashville took me 22 hours. That's why I'm really happy I sent that stuff. I didn't have to carry it around.
The delivery people here, it seems like we get different people delivering all the time. It's always someone different bringing our stuff, but they know where we are because we deliver enough stuff. So we do get our deliveries. They put them on the front porch or the back porch. Oh, the package, we got an unboxing. The package we got
You got an unboxing?
today was soaking wet. I was disappointed.
Yeah, it rained.
Good, but it came from UPS from
Danny
Home
Boyd.
Depot.
I just love 59 Impalas. Me too.
I'm gonna make us
Me
big.
too. The first annual No Name Nationals, we got there and I met Kim. That was the best thing that happened. And then I saw this 59 Impala. Got head straight toward it. And that was 38 PIS Racing. It's like, man, look at that, a 59 Impala. I gotta go see that, And it had a big block in it. I forget what you had in that. It's a 454 maybe, or 427. I think it's a 454. I just love that car. Man, look at this. Okay, what do we get? Kim bought this. Sent it to me. Ooh.
Well, they can't see that.
Can't see that. Okay, so this is an unboxing.
I mean, they didn't even double box it. It's not an Amazon package, I'll tell you that.
Whoa.
They just stuck a sticker on it and sent it.
It is a... Where does it say
It's
it?
an invisible hammer drill.
Oh, you can see through it? Oh, you can. You can see through the hammer
It's
drill
stealth.
because it's green.
Yeah, it's the Ryobi brand because all the other tools we have are this 18 volts 1 plus kind of dealio. And we have drills and we have impact drivers, but we did not have a hammer drill. And we need to put some plugs, anchors into brick for the antenna that's going to go out beside the house. And so I spent $100 and got
Paperwork.
got this. I could have gotten a drill
look.
for about 40.
This is like, we need this like a hole in it. We have so many Ryobi chargers, but I guess, one day one of them will take a dump and then we'll have an extra. And it came with a battery.
For $100, I thought
It's a 1.5. It's a really small battery. But this is great. Like, if you're only going to drill a couple holes, the drill isn't real heavy,
Yeah, or we have bigger batteries.
Oh, we have
and
some
can just
enormous
use this for
batteries.
something small.
But,
Well, it's got a light.
how do you test the hammer
Why
part?
is the light down here instead of up here?
I don't know. Because it shines up so you can light your fingers up.
It won't handle.
Oh!
Yeah, there it goes. Ow, my hand.
So, Andrea, we have an antenna
Anyways,
we're going to put
there you
up. We have an antenna we're going to put up, a mast, and I got to drill some holes in the bricks on the side of the building to put some screws in for one of the mounts. So I was just going to try to do it with a regular drill.
And so
She bought that to do the job.
I did a little bit of shopping around. I was smart. I found that they sold these on Amazon, and they were $119. And turns out that where did I get it from?
Does it have a side
Not
handle?
Lowe's, Home Depot.
There is no side handle screw.
No.
Oh, that's okay.
Home Depot is like the premier place that sells Ryobi, and Home Depot was $20 cheaper, and they delivered it. It was cheaper to have it delivered here than to go and get it at the store. I don't know why.
Did this come from Home Depot?
Yeah, and it came straight to our door, and they won't. This whole free delivery thing is really weird. Like, why is it cheaper to have them deliver it to my house than for me to go pick one up at the store? I do not know. Like, they undercut their retailer on price? That's weird.
So,
But I got a good price for it. It's a good, solid tool that we'll probably use once, and then it'll sit around and not get used again for a long time.
Kim's been real good to me about this CB radio thing because most people hate it. And
He likes it.
she's actually helping me like put up an antenna. I designed and built an antenna, and it's should be fairly omnidirectional. It'd probably be a little bit directional, but it's made from stuff I had. So I had to buy some little fittings, but that's all I needed to get. So is there a side? No, there is no side handle. There's no place to screw one in. But it's way better than what we have. Years ago, I was going to mount a tire changer in the floor. This was in Ohio, and I bought a Chinese, not from Harbor Freight, just some local place. I bought a Chinese hammer drill, a plug-in type. I plugged it in the first hole I drilled in the floor. I only had it like about 3/4 of an inch deep. And the drill smoke all came pouring out of the drill, and it burned the drill.
That's the danger of buying the cheapest drill you can get.
But it had a
Dr.
side.
Art, hello.
Dr. Art. Is
I was in
Dr. Art here?
Dr. Art's stream for
Oh,
a while
Dr. Art.
last night, and we were talking about tuning, and I learned a lot that I didn't know you could get into the tuning tables and adjust in...
Wait a minute. That was in his live? Because
He talks about it a lot. It's
okay, because he did a video on it.
Yeah.
I watched the video, and then she comes in my bedroom. I'm sitting there, and she goes, "Oh, I was just watching Dr. Art's live," and I go, "What? I missed it. Why didn't you tell me before it was over?" But anyway, I missed it.
With compressed air. Yeah, if you're drilling down, definitely, because a lot of the material wants to stay in the hole.
We're gonna be. I guess we could take some compressed air up there with us because we're like nowhere near a compressor. Well, we have the little compressor we could carry up there. Buff, is there anything CBU still looking for? Man, Cobra 2000, Cobra 2000 radio, which are old, but they're a 40-channel single sideband.
You could go
But
get
right
it
now,
if you want to show it
I
off.
actually have some single sideband good equipment. I have. I'd like to get an amp sometime, but I don't need it right now. I really just kind of want to get the station running, and start messing with my antennas. You can imagine. I'm an R&D kind of guy with aircraft and kind of with cars, but I designed my own antenna, and I'm gonna put it up and see how it is. My mom dropped my visible V8 down the steps, and it threw a rod on a visible V8. Yeah, so I don't know. Why? What do you have? Let's see, on the CB radios, what do you have? CBs are fun. You can catfish, they call it. Oh, geez, yeah. A CB radio. On sideband, uh, there's a group I belong to. It's kind of a club. It's the UDX, which is the guy that stars in Utah. So it's Utah DX, means like long distance stuff. UDX 979 is my number. So I just went by 979 before the whole UDX thing. But let's see. Stop. 0.649 thick. Okay, you're still talking about the.
Yeah, I think the high volume pumps are really not necessary, especially if you don't have a newer hydraulic lifter motor. There's really no need for the high volume oil pump. It's excessive. You're never going to need that much flow. If you need that much oil, it's because your engine is damaged. So yeah, you want to probably stay with the stock pump type thing, and if your clearances are good, you shouldn't need to upgrade or anything like that. So that's just useful information. But we've done our research a little bit. I don't know. There's always room to learn more. I'm sure there's more to learn, but
308 POS Racing. I just had a Wally drill smoke out on the first hole. Isn't that fun? Brand new tool and it smokes out on the first hole.
I mean, it could happen on any tool if you get a bad one, but we're trying to buy a decent tool. I learned when I was younger, right? Because I was dealing with, remember the old, I don't know, when I was a kid, there was a lot of tools that they were, made in China. They were made out of pot metal. They were soft. And you would put them on there, and your first bolt, you'd break it off because it's all rusty. I was up north, and someone told me, like, buy the best tools you can afford. So, I could have bought a $40 drill, and it might have worked, or it might have smoked out the first use, or I could buy a $100 drill, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to smoke out. But, okay, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about, the drills. This drill is just got a regular maximum half-inch chuck. And
well, for the holes we're doing, that's plenty. Look at that. You can see through the drill.
okay, you don't want to be putting a half-inch bit in here and drilling a lot of holes. Like, get a corded drill and do that work. You know what I mean? Like, you paid a lot of money for this. Don't use it for that. The other thing is this drill is really for like 5/16 holes or maybe 3/8 maximum holes with the hammer. Anything bigger than that, you want to go to the kind that's like long and has, instead of having the chuck, it has like the SKS or SKS Plus extension for a hammer drill. This is a very light duty hammer drill. You should only use it for light. This would be really good for putting in tap cons. I was telling you, they're just screws that go straight into concrete without raw plugs. Anything bigger, raw plugs are what, 1/4 inch? Anything bigger than a 1/4 inch, you should not be using this. You should be using an SKS drill. Maybe one hole, a little bigger with this, but take it easy because you'll burn it up. Don't do it. Even don't burn up your good drill. Use the right tool for the right job.
I'm going to go down some comments here. I'll grab.
Go.
Compressed air sub-tank would probably do for that. We have a 3-gallon compressor that I can carry around and plug it into an extension cord, and that'd be fine.
Yeah,
so
it's
yeah,
okay for blowing
I can do that,
holes.
and that's just like having a little like you call it sub-tank. I'm so tired of chickens and their babies. Okay? I have a box or two of car CB and other stuff. Single sideband, yep, SSB. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we start using CBs again. Be kind of cool at No Name Nationals. We could
I think, yeah.
talk around and
When we're
And
cruising down to Lambert's, we should all be on our CBs.
do you have a license? No more licenses anymore. When I first started this, there were still CB licenses, and then toward the end of the 70s, somewhere in there, they just said, the FCC just gave up. Nobody's legal anyway, just let them be. Actually, they do say you're licensed because you're following the rules. And if you don't follow the rules, you're violating the license, which I don't know the way they word that stupid thing. So you don't really have a license for yourself. Let's see, Ryobi's good, but it's a good DIY, great. Ryobi, I've had no problems with anything Ryobi. It's just, and I use this stuff. Chickens roost in my tree, and the chicks keep dropping into my backyard, and
we should get some chickens. That'd be fun.
No chickens. I want rabbits. Rabbits be easier to take care of the chickens. Chickens are messy and noisy. Rabbits aren't noisy. I don't have much Ryobi stuff. You know what happened is I bought something Ryobi and I really liked it, so then I just kept buying more Ryobi stuff, and all the batteries interchange, and I just like it. I still remember my call sign. Really? So you were back in the 70s, had a CB. See, what happened was it was so busy. Remember how it was in the 70s? You couldn't talk. There's so many people on. And I really need reliable communication for my business. And I got a business license, and I got some Motorola high-band business radios, and I was KOI 726, and we had 100-watt FM stuff in like the high band. It was 150-something megahertz. It was just perfect, I mean, we had good communication. But there were no cell phones back then, so I doubt the FC has a CB department anymore. You know what? They actually did. They have done some enforcements, like about 10 of them over the last 10 years. Man, that's scrolling so fast.
It is.
I can't keep up with it.
Welcome to the stream, Buick Smith. I saw you come in.
Man, I just lost everything I was talking about. I finally made it.
Oh, you want me to scroll back up?
Yeah, scroll back up, and I'll try to get my bearings again.
I doubt the FCC has any.
Oh, yeah, okay. You can scroll back then. I was going to say about the FCC. One of the enforcement things they did recently was somebody in... Whoa.
I hit the green screen.
Somebody in Tennessee had a big amp, and he had it keyed up for an hour and a half with playing things like sirens and stuff. And he was trying to annoy his neighbor who was playing an electric guitar, so it was coming over the electric guitar amp. And the guy complained, and the FCC sent this CB or a letter. Well, he continued doing this, got another letter, and on the third time, they cited him. Well, there was another guy who was actually a ham radio operator who kind of went rogue, and he was had reprogrammed some kind of radio, and there was a forest fire, and he was out there redirecting the bombers around. Well, if you do that, you're going to get in trouble. So, but generally the CBers, they kind of leave them alone. Unless you're causing a problem, you'll get a nasty letter. And if you correct what you're doing after the nasty letter, they leave you alone. I still talking to CB all the time. Well, that's pretty cool. Buick Smith, I just watched something you did. What was it? Man, there's so much content out there. I can't remember everything I watched.
I didn't even get to talk about the stuff that I got coming up.
Oh.
We've been so busy with the chat.
Bigger clearances because they nitrous steroid. Okay, there's all that stuff going on.
We'll need
That's your stuff.
And a bigger capacity oil pan. That's absolutely right.
Don't weigh anything though. If you
He's talking about the chicks that fall out of the trees.
RC crystals for channel 11, you end up. Well, yeah, you got to be careful when you start. Yeah, they don't even use crystals anymore. It's it's all electronically done. Yeah, I used to do all that. Back in the 23 channel days, I changed all these crystals. So I went below channel 1, like 100 kcs, and I went above channel 23, and I used to be on 305. We called it 305 then. Well, now 305 is channel 30, and it's legal. So I don't know. I'll just stay in the band. And I'm working on getting my ham license. And once I have my ham license, I got a pretty nice ham transceiver. So I'll probably start doing something with the ham. But that's my that's my little fun thing I do on the side. I think we're mostly doing
We can pick
cars.
up the recycling bin up the street. When the dumpster gets full, they call in, dumpster 5 is full and recycling needs picked
Oh, oh
up.
my!
That's the
The
only
scan,
CB stuff going on around
the
here.
scanners used to be all the police and fire and all that, but now they're all encrypted, and it's just you can't. So I'm messing with my scanner, and I find the local garbage company, and they talk about where they're dumping garbage and stuff. It's funny. It's like, man, that's what a scanner's about now. Of course, there's the all the riverboat action, the what do you call them, the barges and stuff. I could listen to that, I suppose, but I
Oh,
don't really
Wendy's
care.
back. Hi, Wendy.
Wendy's back. My high school buddy went rogue on ham once and started ordering remotely on McDonald's. Oh, Channel 11 is 26. Channel no 26 620 is way below Channel 1. Uh, I don't know Channel 11 offhand.
Yeah, I
I
can't
should
believe the
memorize all
police
that.
scanner doesn't work anymore. That stinks.
Uh, you know, back in the day when I had police scanners in my car, twice, one time the stolen car came out, and the car was in front of me. And I had a CB, so I called a friend of mine, call city police. This car's in front of me, and we were both, this is a scanner. He called, and it was a gremlin with 4 guys in it, and they got him. And the other one was a stolen car. There was a couple of cars in front of me, and I called in, and I don't know if they, same thing. I called a friend on a CB, and so they caught him. So I always said, the people listening to the police isn't such a bad thing, but now it's a big secret. All right, fine, it's a big secret. I don't know. I don't really like that. I just listed cordless phone. Oh yeah, cordless phones back in the days when it was 49 megahertz. Get them on the scanner. I used to listen to drug deals. Scanner on cordless phones. Commercial 16 channel walkie talkies. Used to be the same thing. Fast food. Yeah, what we use around here. Oh, I had them sitting here last week. We use they call them MURS, MURS, which is multiple use, some kind of radios. They're good for about a quarter mile on a good day. And we use them. We use them around the property here. Like Kim will be up in the shop, or I'll be on the mower or something, and we can talk to each other. And it's really good, but that's all they're good for. You can't talk any further than that because they're just not powerful enough. A little tiny antenna, and they're in the 151 megahertz band, which is where the old business band I had was like right about there. But they don't use those anymore. Man, that was nice having a 100-watt business band. But now you got cell phones, so if you know who you're calling, you can call halfway around the world. Doesn't matter anymore. 46.61 to 46.97. What is that? That's low band. That's low business band, or that's like those MURS are good for swap meet. Oh yeah, that's perfect. MURS radios, that's exactly what they're good for. And we use them car to car sometimes, like somebody pulling a trailer or you're towing. Like Kim will be, I was towing her, and she could tell me, speed up, slow down, that kind of thing. But yeah, you can use them going down the road if you're close. But we have similar setup for around the land here, 16 channel CB. Put on events are spread out here, they're fine. I don't know what a 16 channel thing is. I soldered and built a Heathkit shortwave radio kit from Radio Shack. Okay, my dad got me old. I built my first CB was a walkie-talkie when I was in 3rd grade. It was 1963. I built a Heathkit 100 milliwatt walkie-talkie and soldered the components on, and didn't work afterwards. I went to a neighbor who was a school teacher, and he was also a radio nut. And he looked at it, and he got a field strength meter and adjusted some of the stuff, and man, it worked great.
Mexican Spec is out of here. Thanks,
Oh,
Mexican
gotta go.
Spec. We'll see you next time.
Take car. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Take care.
ARP. I just bought a set of ARP bolts for flex plate torque converter bolts for my new 727 transmission that I'm either going to hook to a 360 or a 318. The 360 is a Magnum and the 318 is a LA. So I don't know which yet. I guess the torque converter is for a 318, so probably 318. And yeah, ARP. I can't wait till they arrive. That's on the short list. Hopefully we can get that done and get a video out in the next week here before the next live. The days go so fast. We get busy doing stuff and the day is like over like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, it gets dark way later. And what's happened is we start missing the lives because we're still out there and it's light, but the day still goes by too fast. Let's see, two-way radio, CBS. We'll roll a two-way with distance. Past John. I don't know. Dr. Art, run the 360 and put a turbo on it. Oh my God. What are we going to put that in? The Dart? You know, her Dart, we still got to back half it because we've got that independent rear suspension that Kim and I narrowed, and that's going in the Dart. It's out of the Lost Fire, which is a Crossfire.
So,
but we narrowed that, and that'll be a nice rear end.
So
you could feed a 360 turbo into that.
Since I've already got the 3 on the tree transmission in the work with me here.
The Dart?
In the Dart.
It's a
if
66
I stick
Dart.
with the LA 318, it's kind of period correct, and it doesn't have any electronics on it and stuff like that. Like it has the distributor for the wiring that's already in the Dart and everything like that. It'll just like kind of drop in there. Honestly, it's like a weekend job to put that 318 in the Dart, whereas the 360, I have the computer and stuff, and seeing that Dr. Art can tune that 360. Dr. Art, if you're here listening, can you put like a pressure sensor, what's it called, where manifold absolute pressure sensor, MAPS sensor on it that will read boost on a 360 and run a table in the factory computer, or do you have to do something aftermarket to run a turbo and use the computer?
She's got all the computers and stuff.
MAP sensor, yes. Does the factory one, will it work with a turbo, or can you just get an aftermarket one that still works with it is from a 92 truck. But I have the computer for a 318 from MAP sensor generally won't reboost. I have the computer from a 99.
He's not far from here.
He says easy.
Yeah, he's like an hour and a half here. Dr. Art, sometime we got to meet up. I mean, in person. And I know we're both busy. I mean, I don't know what happens to our days. We're like, oh yeah, we're going to do this, and then at the end of the day, you go, what happened to the day?
Did you realize there's only 3 weeks till Power Tour starts? Like, we're not even going to have a car to drive there at the rate that we're going. We get so busy with things.
We're gonna
Dr. Hart says easy. So we have that turbo that we're going to put on the Slant 6. Maybe we'll put it on the 360.
So, I mean, yeah, she could do a carbureted 318 or I don't know. I don't mind the electronic stuff. I don't like the new cars because they're too electronic. Like mine has stuff that the 100,000 miles on a car and a dealer can't find the problem because it's intermittent. That kind of shit drives me nuts. But, an electronically controlled engine, I don't know. I don't mind that so much if you know what you're doing,
So the other vehicle that we have that the 360 might go in, its full frame is that Dakota. That a 360 in an 87 Dakota or an 85 Dakota would be a monster. And with a turbo, that would be kick-ass. So that's like a future. That's like next year. Like, we've got a lot going on. We've got the new building that we're kind of putting together. Burnout Monster. Yeah, I would think so. And that Dakota has a 4-cylinder in it that has a dead computer. And so I was converting it. I tinkered with it a little bit and kind of just, I've just been too busy to get to that. I never did I was going to do a revival just to make it run and then do other stuff to it. And it's on the way back burner because we have the Valiant, the Dart, and the Green Truck are our this year's projects.
Wait a minute. I'm trying to sneak in the Spitfire.
The Spitfire is going to be a winter project. We are not getting to that before fall.
Man,
There's just
yeah, but
no
I got
way.
so much fiberglass work. Oh, we got heat. We can do fiberglass. We got heat now.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, because, and it's small enough it'll fit in the Spitfire. It's tiny. It'll fit in the shop. So, yeah, I don't mind doing that in the winter, I guess. I'm just trying to do like every project all at once and to put the CB tower up and, you know how to get really busy? Retire. I've never been this busy. When I was working, it was a different busy. I'd get up early in the morning, go out to the test site. I'm out there for 10 hours. It's an hour and 10 minutes drive each way. I come home and I'm dead tired. So I guess I was busy. But now we're busy with all the stuff I wanted to do, and I feel like I'm running out of time. Let's see here. Okay, we're talking about radio. Send this, work on Morse code and receive speeds with telegraph key. Yeah, I'm not a Morse code guy, and you don't need it anymore. But I suppose I could get into that. I know people that do that. My oldest girl and her boyfriend are building a third-gen Camaro for Big Sky Dragon Drive LS with for all 80. It looks like he's working on the space shuttle to me. Too many electronics. Let me tell you about bad electronics. I have a 2016 Mazda 6, which has been a very reliable car. I maintain it with the oil changes and stuff you have to do. Had to put a battery in it. Still haven't put brakes on it. But most of the car has fast, easy highway miles on it. Not a lot of brake applications. So that's why the brakes are still good. But it's got one of these just horrible electronic parking brakes. You pull a little switch up, and you hear a couple of actuators in the back go zzz, that puts the brakes on. Why don't you just run a cable? But they do that. So then I'm driving. I was in some town in California. In town, I'm driving like 25 miles an hour. Just driving, and that brake goes, and the back wheels lock up. It's like, what? Uncommanded. Just the emergency brake goes on. I get it back to the dealer. Of course, it only happened once, so they can't find it. So then it happens to me again in a parking lot. I skid to a stop. It's like, okay, I had enough of this. If this happens like on an off-ramp going 75 miles an hour, I'm going to go backwards off the off-ramp and kill myself. So I got it back in the dealer. Dealers can't find the problem. It hasn't done it again for probably 50,000 miles. But it's always on my mind. Those back brakes, the parking brake could just instantly lock up. I hate shit like that.
I'd be cutting them cables.
I hate shit like that. So electronic stuff like that is terrible. But an electronic controlled engine that we understand, and it's like somebody like Dr. Art, that's...
There is a heck of a
That's
learning
pretty good.
curve. If you're going from the old analog controlled stuff from the early 70s and before, and then you're going into something that's from the late 80s, in the 90s, 2000s, it just becomes infinitely more complex. And each manufacturer has their different sets of sensors, crank position sensors, cam position sensors, and all the different like map and O2 sensors and stuff like that. Learning how that all interacts. It's hot rodding. It's just modern hot rodding to be able to. I really love that that Dr. Art's out there and showing people how to, because so many people just like want to rip all that stuff off, and it's like no, learn to hack it. And it's a different kind of hot rodding, but I mean it's what's here, it's what's now. Like not everybody is going to want to.
You're right. 300
build the whole
PS.
stuff.
Park brake is electronic. Yeah, it's on a CAN bus, which just pisses me off.
Well, that's so that the AI can run your entire car. That's
I worked
plan.
on fly-by-wire airplanes for, I don't know, almost 20 years. And so I understand this stuff, but we had to have it that way. Um, but when you got an intermittent problem and the dealer can't find the problem, that's, and uh, there are new cars that still have a zzz with a cable. It's so easy. Why not just do that, you know?
Because they want to be able to actuate it with computers.
Yeah, the thing with yeah, like I said, I worked on fly-by-wire airplanes for almost 20 years. So, like the first half of my airplane career was all with cables and torque tubes and push-pull tubes and all that kind of stuff. And the second half of my aircraft career was with fly-by-wire airplanes. And so I really am into it. I understand it, but on my own car, I would just really like to have a brake that's mechanical. And if you ever lose the brakes, I know there's a tandem master cylinder and everything, but if you ever do lose the brakes, a car with a manual brake, I see people with these single master cylinders on the old cars, and oh, if you lose it, you won't have any brakes. No, you got a handbrake. I've stopped cars with a handbrake because a single master cylinder is taking a shit, and you could do it, but man, I don't know about that thing that's on a CAN bus.
Bought a pedal max and it solved that hesitation. See, when you understand and you know how the workarounds and you know how to make adjustments, you can make it do what you want. Now, whether it's, I don't know, it's not simpler. It might not even be better. It's just what they have to do now.
CAN bus. Well, see, the airplane.
And in a lot of places, you're not allowed to change any of it. That's the really kicker. Is like here in Tennessee, you can change your stuff. Well, we don't. We make our stuff run properly.
Like my van. When the catalytic converter got stolen, we could have just bypassed it.
Put another catalytic converter on.
We didn't. We got a federal catalytic converter, not a California, New York state. There's a third state where you have to have the $1,700 converter. So we put a $350 converter on it, but yeah, why not make it legal and make it right, And the cars that we have that don't have cats on them, most of the cars we have are way too old for that stuff.
Well, they never did in the first place.
They never have in the first place.
So we make them run as well as we can, and
they're fine.
The problem with older cars, the real problem is when they're worn out and tuned improperly, and then they're polluting unnecessarily and using a lot of excess fuel. We don't drive our cars very often. They don't use a lot of excess fuel.
Buick Smith just said something, reminded me of something. He says, I drove my 63 El Camino, and I read that and thought, no, you didn't. And he changed it to 64. Hey, you want to see what was supposed to be? You want to see what was supposed to be? The 62, 3, and 4 El Camino? And they didn't do it? Where is it? I have the picture. I got to find it. Here it is. Here it is. This is a General Motors mock-up, and they didn't do it. And that was supposed to be the 62, 3, and, or 60, 2 and 3 El Camino. 61, 2, and 3 El Camino. And what they did was they just didn't have an El Camino for a few years, and then they came out with the Chevelle. I'm glad he said that, because I'd forgotten about this.
Just the e-brake. I would not.
What's
the
that?
brakes went out, I would stop what I was doing and fix.
Oh no! If you got to stop, and you've got a, you can use the e-brake to stop. I've done it. In fact, when I drove cars like that, I used to stop sometimes just with the e-brake just to do it, to make sure it worked.
We spun our cars out, drifted.
Looks like the Nova 2 platform. That was the original Chevy 2 that came out as a 62 model. This one, they actually said 61. So they had done this with the intent of a 61, 2, and 3 El Camino. And that's got the manufacturer's plate on it and everything. I mean, that's General Motors. And they just didn't do it. Came close. Ground wagoners have sequential front turn signals. Can't just change a bolt. Oh, yeah, all this. I mean, parts of the first gen El Caminos. Oh, yeah, I bet you are. 59 El Camino. Yeah, 59 El Camino. One of my favorites. E-brakes. Not e-brakes, they're electronic freeze button. Oh, man. When that happened, I can't believe they did that. And they do it on a lot of cars. And then I see somebody like, oh, who's the guy that tests all the cars? Doug DeMuro. He got some newer car and gave it the Doug score and all that. And he really put it down because it had a mechanical emergency brake. And he couldn't believe they didn't do it electronically like all new cars are. And I'm thinking, they did it the way that's safe. That shouldn't even be legal. I got 3 and 6. I got 3 El Caminos, 59 El Caminos, Batwing El Caminos. My stepmother, somehow we got talking about this stuff, and she told me she had a 59 Chevy that she bought new and drove it around for years. Really? That's pretty cool. Doug, you watch Doug DeMuro? I used to watch a lot of his stuff. I hardly ever watch it now. The Caddy El Caminos they were called, man, that was an aftermarket conversion. Flower cars, yeah. The Caddy El Caminos were called, see, Ford used the same name. Durango? Ford used Durango. What was the Cadillac El Camino looking thing? Oh, Caddy. I don't know. I remember those. They were in the early 70s. They're big, giant El Camino looking Cadillac things. And the one that I liked was the Ford that was built on the Fairmont Futura. I don't have a picture of it, but I got a picture of the car that it was made from. They did a bunch of these where the the pickup bed was back here, and that big wide taillight folded down, which is not legal now, but they used those for a couple of years. Some company made a Ford one, and see, I had one of those with a 302 and a C4, and that thing flew. Another one, girlfriend got it from me. Yeah, that isn't mine. Mine had different wheels on it, and didn't have the silver down below. It was blue, and it had a Pinto 4-cylinder 2300 4-speed in it when I got it, and it knock, 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 had a broken piston skirt. But I drove it for like a year like that. And then I pulled it out, and I built a 302 and an automatic and put it in there, and promptly started breaking bolts in the rear suspension. And finally figured that out, changed everything with grade 8 hardware, and kept the bolts together. It was a fun car. Oh, Ford Look Centerline existed apparently. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah. Man, were mine 4? Mine must have been 4 lug. I don't know. I don't remember. That was 40 years ago. I had that when I had the last radiator shop. I had that in 85, 86, 87. Maybe 84, 85, 86, 87. And I had a girlfriend then. And when we split up, it's like she had to get some stuff. I had to get some stuff, and she got the Fairmont. Oh well. Fairmont is Durango, yeah. The Caddy was called the Mirage. It was the Mirage? Yeah, I don't remember that. I do remember the car. I just don't remember the name. So let's see.
What year was that?
What? The Mirage?
Yeah.
I don't know. It must have been about 72, 3, 4, somewhere in there.
There it is.
Oh, yeah. Bring it up.
Here she goes.
Oh, it is a Mirage. Oh, yeah, that's the one I remember. I remember seeing those. Not many of them, but I remember seeing it, you know.
Well,
Oh, you
good
turned
stuff.
blue. I remember those. There might have been a couple around. There were also some back in the like 70, 71, somewhere in there. Before that body style, was a body style before that. Somebody was building Cadillac station wagons, and I was in Los Angeles. Oh, it's when I was taking the physical to go in the Air Force. And you know who drives by me? Is Evil Knievel in a bright yellow one. That's the license plate number was Evil. And I knew who it was driving the car going by. It was a Cadillac station wagon. That was before Cadillac didn't have any wagons.
I had no idea that they ever produced such a thing.
That thing right there?
Crazy looking.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Huh.
Look up, just for the hell of it, look up Cadillac station wagon Evil Knievel. Evel. It's spelled Evel, not like I-L. Cadillac.
E-V...
E-L.
E-L.
Knievel, there's Knievel. You can see how to spell that. Station wagon.
Cadillac station wagon.
Oh, it came up. That's it. That's the car that I saw. Oh, maybe it is the same body style as that thing. I saw that car, and the license number on it was Evil. And there goes Evil Knievel driving by down the road. And I'm like, took a double take, and like, yep. Buick built a Roadmaster pickup mostly for U.S. Forest Service. A Riddler Award went to a pink Cadillac wagon just a few years back. Fleetwood body too. Yeah, CIL. Man, that was crazy seeing that thing go by, and it just, I knew nothing about it, but I knew who it was as soon as I saw it. You know, came and gone so quickly. Oh, somebody else did a wagon in 1960. Is that a 60? Yeah, somebody did that. What was the guy's name in Utah? Did all the TV shows with building cars. I should know his name.
You should.
What's the guy's
How
name?
dare you?
In Utah.
Somebody will know it.
Oh, that's why I'm asking. Somebody will
Who's
know
going to
it.
guess it first?
Because I want to look up that too. One of the best looking Cadillacs I ever saw. He did that. Yeah, Kindig. Look up Kindig, Kindig.
Kindig?
Yeah, black Cadillac. Black 1960 Cadillac, something like that. Nope, it was 1960. Got the wrong one. There it is, 60. It prompted you. Yeah, look at the picture in the upper right-hand corner. That one. I don't know, how can you bring that up so it can be seen? That was, man, I watched them do that, and they copper-plated all this stuff. They did the inner fender wells, and the grill is all copper and chrome both. That was one of the most outstanding custom cars I've ever seen. Except it sits kind of low, but some people like that. But that was, what a thing that was. Man. Yeah, Dave Kindy. Is he still going? I heard something happened that wasn't on TV. See, I don't have TV anymore. So I don't know. There's so much on YouTube. There's so much content
Oh my
on YouTube.
gosh.
I can't watch everything I want to watch and get anything done.
No, we'll die of old age before we keep up with half of the people that we enjoy watching.
Sometimes I'm watching stuff on YouTube and she's already asleep. I'll say goodnight to her, go back in my room, turn on the YouTube,
We'll
and I'm
stay
sitting
up all
there,
night
and
and not get up in the morning at
pretty
work.
pretty soon it's getting light out, and I go, man, I forgot to sleep. And I'm still trying. There's like more stuff in the queue that I want to watch.
I never seen so many tabs. He opens tabs and tabs and tabs every day, more tabs.
Well, they're all in the queue and stuff I want to see, and it's like, oh man, there's just so much content and so much good work out there, man. And then once in a while, I watch somebody ruin something. It really makes me mad. I gotta ask her. I got so mad 2 nights ago. I couldn't have slept if I had to. I was so freaking mad at somebody. And it's because the individual ruined the car.
I think we should just talk about it.
No, I don't know, because then it's going to give up what I wanted to do, and I kind of wanted to keep that under the wraps.
Okay.
But he kind of copied. He didn't copy what I was going to do.
He
did it first, but he destroyed it. He didn't even do a nice car. He just
he did a big sloppy mess.
He just destroyed a car like it was a big joke, and I was like,
I mean, the car was garbage. It wasn't that nice.
But there's a car that you can either fix it, and it'll be pretty nice, or you can destroy it the rest of the way. And he destroyed it the rest of the way, and it's just like, ugh.
He said he was going to use the motor for something else, so he just burned it up. Did stuff with it to make it look fun for a few minutes, and it was a crazy mess. And
yeah, spray foam and gallons of Bondo, and it's like...
It was what it was. He didn't pretend like it was anything it wasn't. I don't know. You were really upset.
I was really upset.
The time of day.
Well, and then somebody else had ruined a car. See, my father bought... The first new car my father bought was a 53 Ford 2-door sedan. And it had last year, the Ford had a flathead V8, and my father bought one of those. And his first car I ever rode in. I kind of remember riding in that thing when I was little, barely, but I remember it. And then, so these kids up there in somewhere in Nebraska or Iowa or somewhere took a 53 Ford that looked just about identical to my father's, but it was in pretty good shape. The paint was even in pretty good shape. And they took that.
That made you mad.
They took that 53 Ford, all they needed to do was rub the paint out or maybe put a fresh coat on it. And they took a DA and took it down to metal like in numerous places, got it all wet and rusty, and then clear coat over it, and they're like, look at the patina. And then they put lowering blocks on it, back bumpers almost on the ground, and they're all proud of themselves they made this patina. They ruined the car. They rusted it. Purposely rusted it, and
it's their car.
But I was sick about it, you know.
Yeah, you do get upset about other people messing up their cars. It's how they like to mess it up.
It's a 53 Ford. There's probably like one left that was that nice, and they destroyed it.
No way, there'd be a zillion of them.
Do you guys remember the car and track reviews?
That's what brought this fellow up.
Car and track. I want the Munster coach to think of the reaction. Is that the one with that? Claim people like the patina. It's the first time I heard of patina. I was building doors for the inside of it was a set of doors that were tubing, and I was used to welding tubing together for aircraft. And this was easy. I made more money than I did building an airplane. Some doors for between it's in a mall, and it was between what do you call it?
Salon.
A salon and a shop where they sold products like what you'd see in a salon. And it was the same people that had it, but they wanted doors between it. And then they had these little leaves, and the artist that ordered the doors from me did the leaves, and they were in copper or something. He goes, this is called patina, and he did something to the copper, so it made it kind of older looking copper, and it was really artistic, and he had all these leaves on there. He goes, that's called patina. Well, then a few years later, I hear about a car with patina. I go, patina on a car? And I look at it, and it's this rusty mess. And I'm thinking, that's not patina. That's a rusty old car. Now that's patina is now rust. Ugh. Oh, man. Yeah, they ruined a 53 Ford. Oh, there's a Matador. Oh, look at that. That's a Charger 500. Yeah, no, I don't remember this guy at all.
I guess he did stuff with Road and Track.
I remember the Munster coach was made like a coffin. Oh, you know what that was up there? Up higher. That one, that's an Opel Manta. I always liked Opel Mantas. And that was back before Opel turned into a garbage car. They're a pretty decent car. Got some patina on my truck. Folks would like. I aim to race it. Yeah, I mean, if you've got some surface rust, I mean, yeah, fix it. But don't take a car that's got pretty good paint on it and buff it off with a DA and then wet the car down and let it sit for a few days. It was all the
rage. Patina cars were getting all the attention that year.
Clear coat over
Just,
it.
You know what? Now what they do is they take perfectly beautiful cars and they stick carbon fibers straight onto them.
Oh.
They don't make carbon fiber panels. They glue carbon fiber to the outside of the car so they could say, it's carbon fiber.
Oh, it's a wrap. The Opel Manas I like. Man, I see, that's one of those cars that back then they were getting old and there were still a lot of nice ones, but they weren't worth anything. Man, I should have snapped one of those up. Because I really like the Manta almost better than the Opel GT. Oh well. Well, I've got holes. My slacker ass aims to bond to those. Now, don't bond to them. Cut. Do you weld? Do you have a MIG welder? Just cut and make some pieces and, like several inches apart and then do it again and again and again, grind it down. It's not that hard. Fix it. Those 68, 69 fastback Torino Fairlanes. A lot of people like those. A friend of mine really liked, there's that thing. A friend of mine really liked those, and he called it like a giant Mustang. But I kind of like the Mustangs better. And it's really the same type of chassis and frame and steering and front suspension and everything. If I could have carbon fiber made, be like, thanks, I'm gonna. Man, I work with carbon fiber, but I always used it for strength, like in a wing spar or something. I can't make it beautiful. I use like unidirectional carbon fiber to make something strong. But do you remember Tom? Do I remember Tom McCahill? Man, that guy was something else. I remember a friend of mine had a Crosley, and Tom McCahill called that a sardine can on casters, and it really upset him. McCahill was something else. Tom McCahill was a guy that he did auto car reviews and stuff. Test drove the hell out of them. I think he was in Popular Mechanics. Might have been Popular Science. I think he was Popular Mechanics. So is your car patinaed? No, I don't even like that word anymore. It's so misused.
If you did it and you like it, that's what's important. Not if he likes it. Okay? But, opinions are like buttholes, right?
Wait.
We all got one.
Danny,
and they aren't that important, and some of them really stink. So, it's, I mean, do what you like. If you want to make your car look like it has fake patina, but the thing of it is what happens is somebody does a really good patina car, and then everybody's like, patina car? Wow, did you see that patina car? And everybody's like, wow, patina cars are really cool. And then everybody wants one, and then everybody does their own version of one, and some better than others, and some very misguided. And that's, then they change to paint cars, and chrome cars, and then carbon fiber cars, and, just do what you like, because 5 years from now or a couple years from now, it's not going to be the in thing. And I don't know what to say.
Well, Danny Boyd says here, I can buy a welder, but I have no place to use it, no power. But you know what? I bought a Hobart 140, and it's 110 volt. It's like the largest 110 volt, and I thought it was going to be kind of lame running at 140, but it isn't. That's a welding machine, man. And with sheet metal, you're never going to run it that high. And you could even get away with running it at lower, like probably its lowest settings. uh, with an extension cord. We use an extension cord, big fat extension cord, because I'm going to run it way up. But you could run it even with a normal size extension cord, and that's an amazing welder, for 110.
You know what though? If you cannot weld, there is rivets, there is patch panel adhesives,
Yeah.
there is short strand, and there is Bondo. And all of those things have their place. If you're going to be using some kind of Bondo or adhesive or something like that, make sure that you are sealing it as well from both sides as you can from any kind of water. I have seen people do really nice patchwork. It looks great on the outside, but they don't seal it from the back. And if any moisture gets to it from the back, then it'll rust the panel and pop it off. So you want to seal it as best you can from both sides. And hey, enjoy it for what it is. Not everybody's doing, grade 10 restorations or grade 100 restorations or however they grade them. Like, it's a car, and if you're enjoying it, that's what's really important. And if your price range dictates that you use Bondo for repairs, then use Bondo for repairs and love it, because that's what we got.
Yeah, as far as cutters and metalworking tools, if it's fairly flat of the area, or if it's like one bend or something, you can use something like a vise to bend stuff, get it close to the same shape. You can cut with all you need is a die grinder. You can cut sheet metal with a die grinder, and you don't need a lot of tin snips and stuff like that. And I'd say get a die grinder anyway, because then you can cut the rust out. If you leave the rust there, it's just gonna, and cover over it, it's just gonna go again.
Yeah, die grinder, you can get one of those really thin wafer wheels, and you can cut out pieces of metal if you need to do that.
Yeah, and
it works good.
We cut a lot of sheet metal with.
Just be careful.
We cut
safety equipment.
We cut a lot of sheet metal with the cutter wheel, on an angle grinder, and that
it's actually one of the best tools for working with. Now, it's one of the most dangerous, but I mean, it really works good.
Well, don't stand in line with the wheel. Hold it off to the side, so if the wheel flies apart, the worst thing it does is wax your hand. But I built my Cougar. Out of Bondo. It didn't crack on me. We have a...
Oh, we need a nibbler. They're so good.
I have a nibbler.
Really?
Yeah, we used it one night.
I'm sure.
You pull like this. It's got a squeezer thing. Oh, it's a manual one, and it pulls up here like this.
Really?
But
I do not remember using your nibbler.
Oh,
especially
it wasn't
not a manual nibbler.
Well, I tried to use it, and what happens is it was barely enough for what we were doing, and I think we found some other method to cut. Here's being sensitive, such I don't like. Nibble would be much easier than cutting wheels and grinders. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on what you're working with.
The thing about a nibbler, right, is it's like a big upfront cost compared. Although they probably can get a cheap nibbler, but then if you break the little nibbler thing, the little die that does the nibbling, that you basically have to replace a large portion of the tool, the cost of the tool. So you have to be aware of how it's working and not.
And there's nibblers and there's nibblers. I worked around aircraft where there's guys who use nibblers, and they were air powered, and they were of course they had a compressor, but they were something. The one I have, you start using sheet metal, it's a little bit thicker, and you're gonna have carpal tunnel in an hour. So if your ears are a problem, get a set of ear defenders, and you can put earplugs in here and put the ear defenders on. And you'll be, especially if you're out there shooting, I'm sure you got a pair of ear defenders. Oh, man. One day, just long before I knew you, I had the AK-47 out in the backyard before there were so many buildings around here. And I was shooting, and my son was shooting, and I'm shooting, and then I reloaded. And I had those ear defenders, and I put them down around my neck, and we were talking. Then I took a shot, and I forgot to put the ear defenders on. It was like instant. Boom! I couldn't hear for an hour because that AK went off right next to my ear. Man. So,
Danny Boyd, trying to get anything done in suburban inner city type areas sucks. It's part of
Well,
why I moved here.
and that's
'Cause
why
I wanted to be able to work on cars. I wanted to have some property to store things because, having to buy everything new or trying to source things through marketplace or whatever for everything that you're doing, like I buy whole cars and then pull parts off of them because it's cheaper than buying like one part.
it's really nice.
Buy a whole car and then take what I need, and then when I'm all done, it goes to the
This property,
somebody else.
There's a street up here, and then a property kind of goes out and down like this. So you put the old cars down here, so you can't see them from the street, and the neighbors can't see them. And I always tell Kim, at least park them in a line so they look neat instead of like just hodgepodge all over.
We keep them moving. I keep everything so it has tires and it rolls, so we can roll everything around and mow the grass and then move it back. The only thing that doesn't move right now is maybe the lost fire because it has no rear end under it. But even that, we push it around a little bit to keep it fresh.
And
Don't let the trees grow up around it.
that's why I picked this place when I bought it. It's kind of an old hillbilly house, and it was built in the 60s by an old hillbilly. but it has that outbuilding out there, and there's enough property around that it's 4 acres, 4.5 acres, something like that. And there's just enough room where nobody really cares what we do out here, as long as we're not making noise all night, like running a grinder at 3:00 in the morning, or a sawzall outside, or beating on something.
I think the neighbors mind their business because they want us to mind our business, and I'm okay with that.
And like nearby, we have somebody that has an old El Camino he worked on, and they built a shed out there, and they're making noise.
And they have
at night.
motorcycles, and they start their motorcycles. They're pretty respectful. They start them up,
Harley
they rev them
Davidson.
up a couple times, and then they're going.
Harley Davidson at 1 or 1:30 in the
Fine with
morning. It doesn't have any mufflers on. I don't care. And he
You
rides
hear
off.
him, but then he's gone. Like, big deal. He doesn't just sit there and just goose it half an hour.
He's not going to complain about me. Another neighbor, he moved here from California for the same reason I like it here, is because it's out away from everything. He's no longer in the city, and he's got a Jeep. He likes it out this way.
All of them got a nibbler at a yard sale. You are so lucky.
Power nibbler or a? Mine's a cheap. Milwaukee makes a cordless die grinder. Oh man, there's cordless. I was looking for that. I'll tell you the one I really want is a DA. I really want a DA with what are those, like 8-inch diameter?
Yeah.
Oh God, I wish Ryobi made one of those. Stick a battery on it. I think it'd probably last. It lasts longer than the compressor runs out of air faster than the battery.
Oh my gosh, they are fast.
So
we need one of those long board file that runs on a Ryobi battery too.
Well, a big DA would be really nice. And the other thing is, if anybody knows what an air board is, it's a thing with a sandpaper about this long and it goes back and forth. So if you got like a big panel, I used to use them like refinishing the side of a van where it has to be really flat. And an air board will really help you. But man, you got to have a compressor that's like the compressor from hell. That's like a screw compressor.
Well, we were going to make a compressor out of the V8 in that Dodge truck.
Square cup nibbler, yes. It's just one of those hand things you squeeze like this, and then up at the top, you come up from the bottom, and it goes nino. And then there's the one that looks like this, and it like that. I've got one of those, and you've got one of those. Mine's electric, or no, mine's air. Mine's air. Yours is electric?
Shears.
No, not shears. It's a thing that
it
looks
is
like
a double
this.
shear because there's a blade that comes and there's a blade on either side. It does this thing, which probably looks obscene. But
mine doesn't move. Mine just goes.
It's just the bottom one that moves.
The bottom one doesn't move. Oh, maybe it does. No, it doesn't. It just pushes and it peels up a curly cue.
Yeah, it moves. It's got the center goes up and down and it shears both things. And anyways, those are for sheet metal and they work really good as long as you go easy on them.
Yeah, I agree about the Ryobi tool. They just don't make that tool that I want. Maybe they will because they continue to make more and more tools. Harbor Freight car covers to hide my junk. I've got one of those, and you know what happened?
Ugh, it was
In
not
a-
very good quality.
In less than a year, and it's supposed to be UV.
Well, that wasn't Harbor Freight. That was an Amazon
Oh, it's an
special.
Amazon. It's supposed to be UV resistant and all this shit, and it's UV just turned
It
it
didn't
into
last 6
turn
months.
it
It started
into-
falling apart.
turned into spider
But then
webs.
again, we had a lot of wind. I think we had tornadoes during that period too. I think
But-
it beat it up.
But it's,
Yeah, but it dissolved.
It's UV, and it's all on the sun side where it did that. But you built this thing, or planned this thing, and we've got it almost built. And maybe I can put because that car cover's on my Studebaker. Maybe we can put the Studebaker under a roof. Or I'll buy another.
I want to start putting the Studebaker back together. I know.
It's got to
you don't
come
wanna
apart. It's got to come apart further before you put it together.
Where? We don't have. We do not have facilities to do a full restoration.
I'm not
going to
take a car part way apart and then put it together like it was,
I know.
which is not very good.
I know. I got it running. That video's in his channel.
That was
last year.
never supposed
Or was
to run
that in
again.
my channel?
It's one or the other.
I did get it running. Kind
It
of
was
running.
never supposed to run. I was just a 6-cylinder that I was going to pull out and get it out of my way. She decided to get it
We
running.
got some parts from Mopar Al.
And when you started it up, the exhaust pipe had
Blew mice out the exhaust.
blew mice nests out into the shop. It's
That
like,
was fun.
I couldn't believe all
But
of
we couldn't drive it because it had no clutch. Like, at all. I think that's probably why they parked it.
How about
I bet
no
you.
seats?
Well, that too, but I mean, there was no clutch. So
And then we used the seats.
nothing.
I had a set of bucket seats for it, and where are they?
They're in the Valiant.
They're in the Valiant.
Well, they were the best part.
So, yeah, well, they weren't Studebaker seats. They're some kind of Chrysler seats. Yeah, the Chrysler seats with side airbags in a '72 Valiant.
I like for hiding old cars. Did you see that Facebook post I made?
I don't know.
The city told the people that they weren't allowed to park a boat in their driveway beside their house. So they had to put up a fence. So they put up a fence, and then they commissioned a mural, which is exactly what the boat looks like sitting in the driveway. And right on top of it, you can see the boat sticking out, and it aligns perfectly with the mural. And I thought that was really
Says
great.
I used an airboard on an old fiberglass boat, and the compressor would hardly take a break. Yeah, an airboard, you got to have a big ass compressor.
All air tools. The compressor's just run and run and run.
Well, it depends on what the air tool is, but anything that does any work, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's things I do with like when I paint one panel at a time, and that compressor, you can turn the compressor off and then turn it on.
It looks
between
like we're
shoots,
gonna. That. Thank you. Thank you. It looks like we're gonna paint the Valiant one panel at a time, one door at a time,
That's
one
okay.
fender at a time.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know that red and black
That's
Corvette?
our pace.
That red and black Corvette of mine?
Yeah.
I did that in the garage in a rental house, and I couldn't be spraying, and it was lacquer, and I couldn't be spraying it all over the place. And I tape off one panel at a time and did it.
One piece at a time. And
It worked
didn't
fine.
cost me a dime.
It worked fine.
You'll know it's me when I come through your town.
I was pretty happy with that. I wanted a red and black car. And hey, look up. What is that crazy fast German car? Bugatti. Look up red and black Bugatti Veyron.
Bugatti.
There it is. There it is.
Veyron. Okay. I gotta bring that up over here on the right, and let's see if we can.
It's none of those. Oh my God. They got so many of them now.
Is it an older
Slow
one?
down. Yeah, I don't know. Man. Yeah, it's none of those. I saw one. I said, and the red was down low and the black was up above. I saw
this?
that one. I saw that and I said, I want my Corvette to look like, have a paint job like that. And I did it. And I thought it looked good with the red down low and the black up above. Had it like that for quite a while. It was kind of a shitty looking car when I got it. It looked a whole lot better after that.
Yeah, that the paint in the spray cans is a nice, and you can find them online and order just about any paint code
What is that?
pre-mixed. That's what we used on the green car to paint it green.
What is that place that you got that from?
Oh, I've got a can. I'll look it up.
I've bought paint from them twice.
It worked.
It's
Okay.
worked really well. And it's they match it in a spray can, and then you get their clear coat, you spray it, and it's a base coat clear coat, and in a can. And you see some bad stuff about reviews, and all the reviews are because it runs. Well, it's because people don't know how to paint. They put the base coat on, it's way too heavy.
You know what?
And it get runs.
Paint with the.
You gave it away?
I gave it. Well, it was matched to the car. I gave it to the person who bought the car.
I don't believe you did that. Okay.
But anyways.
You gave it to the guy so he has a
But yeah, you can get it made in, and that's it. Oh, whoa!
a
Single stage for my truck. Yeah, Danny Boyd.
I don't
I don't know.
know.
You probably
They-
need a base and a clear.
Theirs are base coat clear coats is all I've ever bought from them. But I was hoping you had the name of the place. I have some in the shop for the Mazda because I've got the, but I'll probably paint the Mazda a different color, so I'm going to have matching paint that I don't need. I don't know. You go
we'll
online
find it
and look.
send it to them when we find it.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Or you can go
maybe-
just go online and search. There's companies that make, like, search your paint code. You'll find somebody who's already got some on the shelf.
Yeah, the ones. Yeah, you're right. The single stage does look different than a base coat clear coat. I see an older car done with base coat clear coat, like in the original color, and it's like over restored. It's too much. Although it looks okay. I mean, it doesn't look original.
So I don't want to be rude about this, but we are over 3 hours.
Are you kidding me? We're over 3 hours. Oh, we are. We're 3 hours and 14 minutes. No, we started late. We're 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Okay, so we're about 3 hours, and we've had a great time, but I am exhausted.
You're exhausted.
I am. I was burned out at 2, but I wanted to keep going because everybody was having a good time. I hope that you enjoyed if you were here earlier. If you weren't here earlier, at the beginning of the stream, we kind of covered a local car show, and so we showed pictures of some of the real cars that people were customizing and restoring that in our area, which we had a great time doing. So if you want to go back and watch that, and
There, we'll put our picture of the evening up there.
and yeah, if you weren't here, might want to go back and watch that. Thank you to everyone who stuck around. I mean, a lot of people stuck around for most of the stream. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here. We enjoy the conversation. I apologize if somehow we missed people's comments or we didn't stay on a topic that you were interested in. It's very difficult to keep up.
Yeah, Dr. Go, I'd say almost the first hour, like the first 50 minutes of this
Yeah,
is
local car
we
show.
were walking around a local car show.
and we're probably going to do some more of that, and we might make it like I don't know, we may or may not lead in. We're going to see how, like, what the reviewability, like how many people come in and watch and stay and view some of that over the next week, and see if we want to continue with that format. And I hope you all will be able to make it next week. We're going to try and do more interesting stuff and have more conversations with you. Good luck on your projects this week. Get off your butt and go do something. You'll
Jeez,
love it.
Are you telling me that too?
All of it. No, well, yeah, you
No,
too.
she's always telling me.
Yeah,
Get with
work
it.
on your
Get
projects.
with
You can reach Buff Del Campo at buffdelcampo@gmail.com if you have questions or any kind of comments that you want to share with him directly.
Andrea, send me an email with the questions about antennas.
Yeah, Bruce.
I'll see what I can do. I'm not an expert on it. In fact, if you want me to answer expert stuff, ask me about airfoils and designing airplane wings. But can't talk about that stuff here because most of my experiences with stuff I can't talk about. But the antennas, I'm nowhere near as knowledgeable as I am with airplane wings. But I read a lot, and I did design an antenna, so we'll see how it goes.
And Bruce, I'm not old, but I'm not as young as I used to be. But some of the most rewarding days.
A baby that was born yesterday is not as old as they used to be.
Not as young as they used to be. But some of the most rewarding days are when I push through, feeling a little bit tired or and go work on it, and then at the end of the day, I take inventory and I see, look what we did. We've done so much. I've been here for about a year and a half. We've done so much. Some days it doesn't feel like we get anything done, and I wonder, what are we doing? And other days I look and I think, oh my gosh, how far have we come? And we've done 2 no-name nationals now, and we're coming up on our 3rd, and we're going to have lots of fun. Last year we didn't get a vehicle to race like we did the first year I just had a van. This year we're actually going to have a car with a cam in it.
Maybe.
That we built the engine from all the pieces. Like, that's going to be a lot of fun. So it does take time. Just stick with it, do a little bit, and you'll get there. And the rewards are that you did it.
I want to say something here. I'll interrupt. I'm going to give you a reference. You're a YouTube person. There's a guy named Mower Junkie, like a lawnmower, Mower Junkie. And he is down like in your area somewhere, and he builds his own antennas. If you go on his YouTube channel and just look at all his videos, you'll learn a lot from that guy. So a lot of my information comes from him. I've learned a lot from him. And his videos aren't long. They're just interesting.
38 POS, I have a turbo and a supercharger in the box waiting to slap onto that monkey bike. And I don't even want to talk about it because, like, we have so much other stuff to do. The monkey bike is not first in line. But I can still bring it exactly the way it is, so we have that to bring and have some fun with. And if we get really lucky and have time, I can put a supercharger on it. So,
Top Gear BRM supercharged. You know, one of the best things I ever saw was Top Gear with Jay Leno on there. That's a really funny, really good show. If you can look that one up. You know, I worked on jet engines in the Air Force, so we put a jet engine on the monkey bike. Is that a power adder?
I think it has to be a single-cylinder piston engine.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Maybe next year. All right, everyone. We're going to call it right there. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. We'll have some videos out this week, so I hope you get a chance to watch them. Thank you so much for all of your support. And
Take care.
Great week.